Jay, welcome back.
Hey,
Mixed and Moderate, episode 4.
episode 4.
Been a long time.
Very long time.
Was it 2 years?
I think so. Well, yeah.
Hold up, let me see. I got it right
Yeah,
on the
2
dot.
years.
Episode 3 was 2 years ago,
Wow.
and you were in a whole different state. Not United State. You were in a whole different mode.
Fuck, man. Yeah, it's a lot. It's life. You don't think things can happen to you until they do. And then, you look back on it and it's almost like things that happen to you that are, say, like crazy, when they happen, you don't really believe it. In fact, it's like, it's so much that you can't believe it, right? Like your mind won't put it there to believe. So when you're going through those things, man, fucking A, dude. So, yeah, it's been a long journey. Lots of litigation, lots of administrative bureaucracy bullshit. That's what I like to call it. Again, when I speak here on this platform, I'm not speaking for the federal government. I'm speaking as Jason Armstrong, the father, the previous husband, just a human being, not a badge.
Yeah. So we don't have to go into too much detail, but you come out of that situation as it pertains to the family side as what you needed it to be, right? In your favor? Good.
Yeah. Things are civil. So it's a legal word, right? Are they perfect? Absolutely not. I don't think anything will ever be perfect, but for what was occurring and what was playing out, it played out nicely. Dude, I know
I
you're like a
apologize.
sound guy. No,
we
dude.
are in a house, and you guys might hear my dog.
Yeah, dude.
This is not a trap house. It is a lived-in house where people enjoy themselves.
Yeah,
but I do
no.
apologize if you guys hear the beers cracking and the dogs barking.
No, man. This
It ain't just Jay's feet.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
my dog.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's real. Like it's like our last one. Remember the ducks walking through, and a little
Got
bit of
sidetracked.
a little bit of reality in these podcasts that everyone's doing. I think is a good thing.
You know what's funny? We were probably talking about family, and then they're just happening in real life. Family walks by. It may have been a duck.
Yeah,
it may have been I don't know what you call a grouping of ducks.
yeah, it's
but
cool.
It
It's
was
like a little
flock
signal.
of like family.
Yeah, it's nature, man. It's God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like little signals everywhere you go, and I think it's really cool, man. Looking back on those episodes, going through that, putting that out there in dialogue, and sitting down with you and talking about the things that were going on. That there was so much unknown at that time. It was really good to get that out. It's extremely therapeutic, and it's one of those things that just you have to just keep on reminding yourself that this is real life. We are real people. You are not your job. You are not your car. You are not your watch. You are not your dog barking in the backyard, right? You're you. So It's good to process all that stuff, man. And it's extremely important that these things are discussed. And the Mixed and Moderate Patriot podcast, I thought was really cool. I really enjoy doing all that. I enjoy talking. I enjoy getting out there and expressing a voice for like different walks of life. And in my life particularly, that is a unique situation, circumstance. It's very unique. In fact, I don't know anybody else that really goes through something like that.
Dude, I'm going to fucking lose it.
It's all good.
She hears you barking. That's why she's like right underneath us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Give me just a sec.
Yeah, you're good. Anyways,
where were we?
we're talking
Did you have, and you could decide not to talk about it. Did you have litigation against your employer?
That's still pending. So
Well,
it's
we
not
wanna
like
talk about
litigation,
it then.
right? So like you can't. So like we can talk about this. You can't sue. Like you can't per se sue the government, right? Like you can't bring Uncle Sam to civil court.
Okay, but
Yeah.
but then you're internally dealing with it.
Yeah. So like at work,
How is that still pending?
Because, dude, they smoke you out, right? So the government, they have unlimited resources, right?
Right.
And when you're not a good old boy and you're not liked, it's just natural, right? They always say, like, in a lot of agencies, especially law
Jay's got
enforcement.
his own deep state against him.
Well, I've been told that, like, I'm the most anti-government employee, but I'm not. Like, the truth is, I'm not. I'm not. I don't like any conflict.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. You swore an oath to the Constitution.
Exactly.
And which is also our government.
Exactly. Well, that's why we have the Constitution, right? So
Right.
I can actually have these words that I can say. I'm not a robot, right? Like,
Right.
I'm not like a fucking a well-oiled machine that just says yes when I go in every room. And that's another reason too, right? That I don't do as well as, like, say, another person that's maybe moving up the ranks in the government. This isn't even just law enforcement. This is the government in general, or any type of government, right? Like local, county,
Well, being a
state.
yes man in the government is kind of, to me, should be frowned upon.
Well, so I can
An
tell you this much.
absolutist yes man.
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you this much. Politics are everywhere, right? So politics is part of that. But there's something to be said about people who know the real deal about, say, an organization, and an organization that's trying to achieve the mission. There's, specific guidelines to complete certain tasks. If the person that's in charge is doing something that has been right for most of the time, and say things are changing dynamically in, like, whatever environment we're getting into, right? Like into the future, right? Like,
Okay.
things change. That old theory of what was once worked before doesn't work anymore. You can't have yes men in your room, because all your guys are going to tell you is yes, 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 and then your organization's failing. So that's a big
So
thing.
we're talking about, like, in instances of, like, say, culture and society and technology, all these
It's
things
a-
play effect on the job.
It's complex, right? So
Right.
you can't just say one thing
So
works.
one thing, right?
Yeah, and especially, like, when it comes. Okay, I can only speak for myself. So I've been in law enforcement and in corrections most of my adult life. So when these things were happening, and I say I disagree with certain things in management, I was pretty good about being professional about it. But I'm just, at the end of the day, like, I'm not just gonna keep on being professional, right? Like, well, I guess I'm always gonna be professional, right? Because I don't want to get fired, right? I don't want to lose my job.
Well,
but-
I think it came out too fast, but I guess you were trying to get at the idea of I'm not always going to play that nice guy card. That's always I'm not always going to be agreeable.
Exactly. Well, I'm not always going to be liked, and
That too, yeah.
and that's a big thing with some people. Some people just, their egos, especially like an extreme egomaniac, dude. They're not going to like someone that doesn't, care if they like them or not, right? So
Right.
so naturally, it's like water and oil when I'm in a room with somebody like that. So, and I stay professional, and like I said, I stay professional to an extent. Like, after a while, I'm always going to be professional. I'm not going to give you enough to, like, do anything against me,
Right.
but I'm going to make it known that I disagree with you and that I don't like you, right? I don't have to like you. It's like
No,
being a
it's work.
father. It's like being a father, right? Like, you don't have to be liked, right? I have to be your father, right? So if there's a big difference in that relationship that you have with your child, right?
Right.
It's the same in work. You are not going there to be liked. You're going there to be employed and also serve the public. So when I get on this
Weird government jobs they're there to support or serve the public.
exactly right.
Like it was just
Yeah, there's a
side
lot
note.
of people that
There's
don't
a lot
speak
of
like
shit
that.
that just are like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we
That's
gotta
a
go back
shame.
to work. We gotta be back into an
Yeah,
office.
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's a shame. Well,
And we'll
there's
get on
tons of-
that. We'll get on
Yeah,
that.
there's tons of negligence. I call it. It's just pure negligence. And when I was going through what I was going through, clearly there's pending criminal proceedings are one and different, like that is a different. That's a hard dynamic for an employer to stand on, because obviously there's so much that could be at play, right? Like, and especially when you're dealing with, like, malice prosecutions and stuff like that, the employers that are employing that employee, they don't know that, right? They're just thinking that my employer just got charged with a serious offense. They're gonna CYA. They're gonna cover their ass. So it's almost natural for them to do something, but
Makes sense.
But there's still rights, right? Like, you still don't just. I don't think it's not right to just fire somebody just because they're arrested. Because how many cases do we know that get dismissed? How many cases do we know that are just straight up at the end of the day bullshit, right? There's a lot of those now, and especially with today's culture, that no one trusts the executive branch of the government.
No.
There's no trust, and that's what I know Trump's trying to work on. He's not doing a good job just because, like, okay, a good example is yesterday, right? About that plane crash. I listened to it, right? And I was going through my social media and I saw on Fox News where they make it known that they don't like Donald Trump, but regardless of the fact, they were saying they were talking about the plane crash, and they said that he brought up DEI programs. And I thought that was like just them kind of jumping on, talking shit about Trump. Excuse me. And then so what happened is that Donald Trump did a moment of silence, and then he spoke about, the crash and said how it's awful and everything else. But then he just put his foot in his mouth right after he got done saying, this is all preliminary. We don't have any information. We don't have facts. We don't have truth, right? And then he goes and makes an assumption like, well, it could be likely because of low standards of DEI.
Yes, and he jumped on emotion. He jumped on emotion.
That was stupid.
But you know why he jumped on emotion? Well, first off, he's not as squared away as we think. No, he's not like the strong. He's a pretty weak guy.
You're not going to teach old dog new tricks.
No, but look here, the left. Right, so these aren't, and I know he's in a different stage because he is the president, but the left came out and immediately said it's all because of the things he's done,
yeah,
and it's everything that he's done, and so he took that internally and was like, "Fuck that!" Now I got to go on the world stage and tell him no. I got to reassert my fucking point of view, and that's what he did. I still think he's wrong for it. You just said it. I mean, he was that was a dumb move.
Well, if you're going to make such a brazen statement like that, why don't you at least use the correct term? And I'll get there. He made statements of low standards and stuff like that, and then DEI, right? So obviously with the DEI program and initiatives, just from my experience in the federal government, basically what was going on is they were taking people's characteristics like skin color, gender, and so forth, and they were putting that above skills, knowledge, and abilities, right? In another word, the term that Donald Trump should have used in saying these things about, like, he said, like, we need geniuses and we need this and that. The term's called merit. And so in the federal government, it's a merit organization. It's a merit-based organization. I'll give you an example. When you get discipline in the federal government, you appeal it at the Merit Systems Protection Board. Those are key words, right? Merit Systems Protection Board. They're protecting the merit of the government, the credibility, right? The process, right? I don't just get a federal government job just for being a guy that's liked by Joe Schmo chief in the city, right? I have to interview, I have to do writing portions, I have to do PT, exam, physical exams, shooting qualifications and stuff like that.
That's all merit-based.
Exactly, it's all merit-based, knowledge, skills, and abilities, right? KSAs. And so when these government employees, right, that are getting hired in DEI initiatives, they're not getting DEI. Yeah, you're good.
So we were talking about merit-based, and then you said how DEI is actually brought into these things.
Yeah, so DEI initiatives, they're just they're a drastic blow to the merit's integrity, because what they did is basically these initiatives, what they were doing to organizations like the organizations that I've worked for, they were taking them their ability to select based off of knowledge, skills, and abilities, and pushing that to the side strictly based off of
a point, right? It wasn't strictly we're going to review. They would go to a merit-based system and then go, shit, we didn't hit a quota. Shit, we got to bring somebody in from this.
So obviously, I'm not in HR. I've only heard the rumors. Obviously, I don't have concrete evidence other than the fact that they were doing all female hires. Like, how do you do an all-female hire, right? Like, it just seems on its face, it seems like that's discriminatory towards a non-female, right?
Well, anything not female, right?
Right? So, like, can you do an all-black hire? Can you do an all-white hire? I mean, you get what I'm saying? Well, it's a very, you're going down a slippery slope into just negating just a fair, equal process. Now, what with the things that I was seeing was basically just like non-subjective selection process. When you interview, right? Interview could be very subjective unless it's a standard-based questioning, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. So I think that's what we're failing to do, right? That's what we're failing to see. That's what people are understanding. That there's no argument to be had when you select based off of merit, right? Merit is it works. It works.
But let's not even talk about. Let's talk about why there needs to be merit. You can do that in the private sector. You can decide how to run your business.
Yeah.
And how you want to signal to everybody that, look at us, we're great because we do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you great because you do those things. Mm-hmm. What makes you great is, all right, I'll fuck all that idea. The reason why you need a merit-based system for the government is because they are responsible for working and servicing the public, and we don't need the face of every individual in there. And what I mean by that is not, oh, I need it to all be white people.
Yeah.
That's not even. There's plenty of black people that can do what white people
For
do.
sure.
There's plenty of women that can do what men can do.
Yeah.
There's plenty of this or that. But you can't make that in those metrics. You can't put those at the forefront.
Yeah, because basically what happens is you just end up taking one discrimination and substituting it for another.
Honestly, dude, that's like putting me in a position to engage in hand-to-hand combat, and it's me or you. And we're not going to go with the guy who's unhealthy. Now, if we're going to do an eating contest, that might be a different story.
Dynamics change.
And you still might be able to beat me.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like there's things that you can't select people for just based on sex, gender, race.
Just silly characteristics. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, like Martin Luther King, right? Like the speech and all that stuff that he was talking about, it's like you're not to be judged by, the color of your skin, but the content of your character, right? That goes based off you're not judged off the color of your skin. You're judged off of what you can do, what you can perform.
It's already illegal to discriminate against someone for not hiring them.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't make that you have to do it.
Yeah. I will say, like, remember, I made statements on a previous episode that it does make me comfortable as a minority in law enforcement. There's not a lot of minorities. It does make me feel a little bit like more comfortable when there's people around me that kind of do look like me or talk like me. So
other brothers.
Yeah, there you go. That's yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but not to Theo Vaughn you.
Yeah, bro.
That's how you would say it.
Fucking Mookie, bro.
But like you need. Well, I'm not touching that, dog.
Yeah, bro.
But to a degree, yes, right?
Yeah, because I mean, it's culturally.
And I think a white person would say that if they went to an all black area and be like, I'm a little uneasy. Yeah. Even if we're connected theologically or
for sure.
ideologically.
I mean, no matter what, at the end of the day, like in the military, right? Like same thing in the government. You're gonna work well. You're gonna play nice in the sandbox.
Sure.
You're not there to be, like I said, if you go into these jobs, specifically in the federal government, and you're going there to be liked, you're in the wrong field, brother.
Right.
Right? You are taking something so personal. And your job doesn't define you, right? These people that, especially in law enforcement, they base their whole personalities around this badge and gun, and that's a foolish way to live. Like it is. It's just because what you're doing is that's not professional, right? You have to see yourself outside of the badge and gun, or else you're gonna get because absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the badge is power. It's authority.
It is.
So if you're basing your personality off of it, you're going to go outside of your job and your duties, and you're going to go take it elsewhere, and you're going to go into your family, your friends. You're going to do. You think you are fucking untouchable because everything you say is the badge and gun. And that is, I remember in that video I showed you, the Sergeant Abdullah, now Lieutenant Abdullah, he said some crazy shit, right? He said some crazy shit in that video. And
really fucking wild.
Yeah, dude. Like,
could have been on YouTube. It would have fucking killed.
Oh, dude, if I post that video.
They would have broke it down.
Yeah, it was a body cam video. And what's crazy is like, the best part about that whole situation is me as the general public requesting a freedom of information request to get that body cam because it's public record. He's a professional, right? So he has to record. He has a policy that states he has to have the body cam on. And then when I request it, they don't have it. And then I talk to the chief, and he like talks shit to me, telling me that I was like in the wrong and that we took a second look, we found this body cam. I'm in the wrong.
Hey, motherfucker, did I ask your opinion or did I ask for the fucking video?
Yeah, right. I'm like, dude, like what? This is outrageous.
I mean, he did do you. That's a professional courtesy to have a conversation, but at the same time, it's not if you're gonna fucking boy me.
Yeah, well, you're gaslighting. You're gaslighting the citizen. You're gaslighting the citizen. And what you're doing too is you're using your power and authority to fucking fear monger.
They double negative you.
Yeah, dude, you're fear.
So you got
trying
fucked
to
in that
scare
situation.
somebody.
Then you went to go and engage in FOIA and requests. and they fucked you again.
Yeah, exactly. And then they put themselves in a further conflict of interest when they put additional charges on me that were completely frivolous. And they used the stupidest amount of fucking evidence.
I know.
They didn't interview me, and they fucking went and put crazy charges against me again after that situation, right? So what they did was that they put themselves in a conflict of interest, and I was listening.
Well, that's that ego you always
absolutely.
talk about.
Well, yeah, because now it's like now we got to get him. Now he's got the target. Now the boy's got the target. He lives in our neighborhood. We're gonna go. We know who this guy is.
When you never laid hands on him, but you mentally fucked with him because you knew
we're gonna make this boy's life hard.
Yeah.
And so what happened is continuously is that so I was listening to Peterson's podcast, and there's this term. It's a legal term. It's the image of impropriety, right? It's the image of it looking bad. That agency, that local law enforcement agency, should have recruited themselves, right? They should have basically gave it to the county or the state and said, "Hey, you guys need to prosecute this because it's going to look bad. It's going to look malice. That if we go after this guy, he's in the feds. He's got all this shit. He's got backgrounds and he's got resources. This and that. And he's not just your typical boy, right?" They should have known that, and they didn't do that, right? So they continued to do what they did. Those frivolous cases get dismissed. They lose a lawsuit. They
operated outside of, again, they had the badge,
and
they operated outside of that really, they operated outside of the badge.
So they didn't. So let me take that back because obviously this is stuff that's released out there. I don't want any weird stuff. They didn't lose a lawsuit. They ended up settling. So that's a way. Okay, I'll tell you just speaking as a citizen, right? When an organization settles and they pay you money, it's basically another way of them saying, "Hey, we have some shit that's fucked up about this. We don't think we're 100% guilty, but we'll just get you to shut the fuck up."
Exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, just here you go.
Yeah. We don't want this to go to court. We don't want this to go to record because it's all about image, maintaining your image, right?
Yeah.
And also too, that's good too for the public, the taxpayers, because they're the ones. The public taxpayers are paying for what went through there, right?
Yeah.
And that's even more diabolical to me. That's even more negligent to me, especially as the person that's in the federal government. I look at it these lawsuits that are paid out are ridiculous, and it's all negligence. And another thing too is that they knew what they were doing because they knew the damage it would cause to my career. And it wasn't like I was a 1 year, 5 year, 10-year federal fucking employee, right? I'm coming up on 20 years in the federal government, right? So there's a lot invested in me. It doesn't mean that I can't do wrong, but at least if you're going to come at me, it should be with hard, concrete evidence, man. It should be probable. It's called probable fucking cause, man. It's called reasonable suspicion. These are basic fucking thresholds that were just never met.
But look, here's the saddest part of all this. You have the wherewithal and the means to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
In this situation. This shit happens to people all the time.
Yeah.
And they're just left to their own devices to figure it out, but they don't. They end up typically probably dead.
A lot of men actually, so statistically speaking, a lot of men that went through what I went through, especially divorce, career, all that stuff. I was on indefinite suspension without pay for a long time. A lot of men typically commit suicide or they basically they admit themselves into the hospital and stuff like that. So again, like I said, obviously this right here, this is therapeutic, but it also strengthens the soul, right? It strengthens the man. It sharpens your sword. The only thing you can do is it's in prison. I was a correction officer. I used to always watch these guys go back and forth to law library, and I never judged them, but I remember other correction officer COs basically talking shit oh, this guy thinks he's going to fight his case out of here. Ha ha ha. And it's just well, he's got nothing but time to at least try. It's better than him, fucking smuggling in booty dope and fucking booty cell phones and fucking, hustling on the on the yard. At least he's going in and trying to teach himself something. He's Googling, or not Google, law libraries. Case law research, right? Maybe he can figure out his way out. A lot of guys, and especially hard situations and stuff that is very appealable in the courts, have done just that. They've gotten themselves out of prison on their own pro se, representing themselves, not having an attorney. Attorneys are expensive. Over $20,000, $30,000 I've probably spent alone just in some of the bullshit with divorces, criminal defense, administrative fucking attorneys, right? Fighting discipline cases and stuff like that. It's one of those things where if you don't have that, you have no fight,
right?
Unless you find your rock to sharpen your sword to get into those fucking rings called the courts and fight for what's right. State the truth. State your facts. State your material evidence. State your contradicting evidence. I remember when I was submitting stuff that contradicted everything that was being said against me. I'm just looking at these guys like, yeah, got you. And they'll say some other crazy weird shit. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, this is still going on. I'm like, how is this even possible? I'm not a lawyer.
Right.
But obviously like there's a bunch of different ways to fight that. And so, I got to the point now where I'm at administratively, I have money for an attorney. So obviously I pay my attorney, and yeah, it makes it a lot easier. And especially I can tell you right now, I know for a fact that when they see, Esquire so-and-so attorney, as representative for Jason Armstrong, whoever it is, the federal government, the local government, whatever, they're like, fuck, they're probably like, maybe we should look at settlement, options here instead of just continuing this fight because we're about to look like shit when we know what this guy's got, right? We know the information this guy's got. He's not just some fucking schmo. This guy's got a lot of shit against us. And there's just some of this shit that I know is ridiculous. Drinking and driving government cars, fucking smashing them, dude, in like a day on the beach, 2 days on the beach. Other guys, sexual harassment allegations, dude, talking with like higher officials in the government, right? On text messages, dude, admitting it, fucking shit like that. They ban him from going to the section where she works. Proposed termination, give this guy 14 days, right? It's all about who you know. Because like if you look at it, like if you just look at if I'm saying, Kevin, we're gonna fire you. And then next thing you know, I'm like, you know what, Kevin, we're not going to fire. We're going to give you 5 days. And then I look at Jason. I go, you know what, Jason, we're going to give you 30 days. And and then next thing you know, Jason gets 21 days.
Right.
So that's not much difference from a termination to fucking down to 14 days. Right. But 30 days, we're going to drop it 7? Huh. That's weird. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks fucking awful, dude. And it's the image of impropriety.
Yeah. All because you're not the good old boy.
The
get along, hey, what's up?
Yeah, I don't suck their dicks.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. I was about to use that analogy. You don't get on the knee and go, "Hey, does it need cleaning today?"
I don't. All I do is when I show up to work, I say, "What do you need done?"
But you know what, though, dude? In the private sector, people love that. Like in the private world, not in the government. Maybe sure, there's politics anywhere you go, but god damn it, that's what you would want in an employee. Somebody that comes to work ready to go. That's their job. They know it's their job. They may be rough around the edges. That don't make them a dick.
No,
that just makes them a
straight shooter,
just on, and he's ready to go.
Yep.
And he may have resting bitch face every now and then, but it's not intentional.
Yeah,
it's because I'm here to work. And you take this seriously. You've taken your oath. You've taken the whatever oaths you have to the department you're in, what you're doing to service the country. You take all that seriously because you understand the levels of it.
Yeah, I mean, and so if we could like bring in the SWAT training, right? SRT. When you're doing entry dynamics and stuff like that, you enter into the room, right? You're over glass. You're doing your scans. You're looking for unknown threats, stuff that's just the areas of concern, right? Once you're done in the room, you check up, right? So you basically you're taking your long gun and you're just putting it up. You're not over glass anymore. You're kind of in a chill stance, but you're looking at other guys, right? You're looking and you're looking at, what are you looking? You're looking for work. You're looking, where do I need to go next? Where do I need to be? The job's not done. When this house isn't clear yet. So we don't have our S1 in custody, right? So the job's not done. When I go to work, I go in there checked up, or unless I have something over glass that I'm trying to fucking perform, right? I'm trying to get accomplished, right? And so if someone's going to distract me from that because, like, say they want to go out to lunch, you know what I mean? Like, hey, Jay, we're all going out.
Yeah, I could take a shot because of that.
Well, dude, I mean, I can just tell you this, man. I've had many days where I'm like, am I wrong here? Am I wrong for not just at least going out with the guys in my new group for coffee or food or whatever, right? And obviously I've been fasting. So it's like like I'll go out. I'll make myself go out and get a cup of coffee with them just to kind of make face, right? Should I have to do that? Absolutely not. But that being said, there is a part of it that it is a balance. Like I know I guess what I'm getting at is it's not like you have to be liked, but you still got to like circulate a good rapport, right? You don't want to go into your job as like just the loner. Because it takes a team to play, right? There's no I in team, And the more minds on things, the better. And I'm not stupid to that. But however, when I'm like shunned for like not like sucking people off with it and like fucking, hey, let's hey, let's get the barbecue together. It's like, well, wait a minute. Now it's getting a little too much, right? Now it's getting to the point where it's like, you're expecting me to take my family, my life, and like make it a part of
and
all
introduce
this.
it to all you guys.
And
right?
that's what's wrong with a lot of culture organizationally in most situations that you see where things go astray.
But that's not the problem. The problem is because you don't do that, there's a sense of, I'm neglected because of that.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Or
That's
I'm
retaliation.
told I'm a fucking asshole because I don't.
Yeah, it's retaliation, right? You're retaliating against that employee for basically you're doing weird things. You know, you're I can give you a good example. Okay, I when I first got back to work, I had a lot of questions because things were coming at me now administratively, and I was like, hey, like this case is dismissed. Like I got my badge and gun back. I'm back to work. Why am I not getting this? Why am I not back on SRT? Why am I not, this and that? Like my punishment's already over. So like when is my punishment actually over? And then so this stuff happened, and then like I just asked a question to one of the upper management in my agency. And I literally was like, hey, can I speak to the chief? We call them field office directors. And I was like, hey, I'd just like to speak to him directly, right? And then
like people should know what their worth is. No one should tell you what your worth is.
No.
If you know you're an asset, you're an asset.
Yeah. I mean, obviously all the trainings, you'll get your certs.
Look at you, bro. You're a fucking specimen. And then I know that you know how to handle shit. And I don't need to be doing lame shit when I should be doing the shit I'm designed for. I'm made for this.
And I get that they want to at least make sure I'm not some fucking crazy psycho.
Sure.
Like I get that, right? Like whatever. Obviously they knew who I was. It's not like I was like brand new, but you know what I mean? Like let's give it a little breathing room. Let the door breathe a little bit on this guy. Like he just fucking got done fighting for his life. And so let's let this guy chill, right? And they did. They're like, hey, like you need to get a good performance evaluation, right? Like you need to make sure that you get we got to make sure you still know the job.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. But what I didn't like about how they laid that out when I got back, they were sneaky about it. They didn't fucking give me my original issue.
You can't do that, dude.
Stuff. Like they gave me my pistol, but then they didn't give me my rifle that I originally had and stuff. And then like they're like, well, hey, we'll talk about it. And I was just like, dude, man, what do you
don't
mean?
Baby me here.
Yeah, like let's be real here.
You just
like,
gave me a fucking pistol.
Yeah, like
bro.
it doesn't like now we're just getting in like so
Semantics,
petty. Yeah, exactly. So and then so when that started playing out, I knew what was happening, right? I was like, okay, let me start fucking documenting everything. So then I started asking these questions, and I literally, bro, I sent up a message to my chain of command, and I was like, hey, I need to speak to the field office director about X, Y, and Z. He's like, I'll get it up the chain, blah, 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 blah. So the questions that I had. The fucking like guy two below me, I'm not gonna say any names, right? Because it's still pending, was literally in an email, says this, I'm paraphrasing here. There's enough said on this. Management are not your personal attorneys. Basically have a good day. I was like, bro, management are not, I was like, first of all, that's the most condescending fucking correspondence I've ever received in my tenure by a fucking management official in the government and in the military, dude. The military guys say some pretty crazy shit, especially like, your squad leaders, your fucking platoon sergeants, right? They'll call you out. They'll basically at the end of the day call you a piece of shit.
Yeah, I know.
This guy, dude, says this in an email, says that ERO managers are not your personal attorneys, as if I was asking for legal advice.
Jesus.
Not only that, I was asking for guidance. I was asking for like just basically
what
like,
do I got to do to get back to these? Because you
then
guys aren't giving it to me.
No, dude. And then what killed me the most is like this guy had the audacity to just fucking continue like that and then hide from me in a way that was just like waiting for more shit for him to tell me that I did something wrong. I'm like, dude, you are showing your ass as a fucking egotistical psycho. And I just documented it and I filed it because it's not like I can go and punch these guys in the throat, right? I literally have no other options than to use avenues such as EEOs, grievances, Office of Special Counsel, writing Congress. Like, dude, because I can't fucking fight these people, right? Physically, which is what would like back in the day,
in a real world situation, let's go outside, bro. You want to fucking handle it?
Yeah, dude, like it'll be over, right? Yeah. But and obviously these guys, they know this stuff, but then they want to take it so personal. And when like employees file, right? Like I remember, before all this stuff happened, I used to hear employees like when I was on the teams and stuff, and you're just working in the offices, like, oh, this guy's a shit starter, he files grievances.
I hate that shit too.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's like, well, like now that I know, I'm like, well, maybe the guy couldn't punch the guy in the face, so he's got no other options. Like now I know what it's like to be.
Let's be honest, Jay. There are guys that have spoiled it that were ahead of you. Yeah, you want to snag me one? So you're still in here, but there are people that Like, it's not unfounded for them to treat people like shit. Because there are idiots. You know that. The problem is when Joe Schmo, who got preferential treatment for something that he did that was fucked up, is still getting everything back to him as soon as possible. I also want to say, for the record, any motherfucker that's like, well, he had a problem with his wife and they had to litigate it. And, well, if the litigation came out on your end, what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
Well, furthermore, so all the time they're worried about you having a gun or not because they think he could be a threat.
Yeah.
Is the only assumption you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
There's some motherfucker getting crazy running a car through New Orleans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
those are the motherfuckers you're missing for some reason. But here I am, just some guy who's, I might be upset, but that don't mean I'm going to go crazy. I'm not going to go postal as they would determine.
Well, even further, like when I was going through all my stuff, I was reporting to these buildings and stuff. Like the only time I was actually like, say, pushed out of the building was when I went on indefinite suspension without pay.
Yeah.
Just through the proceedings, which is something that's kind of a standard, but at the end of the day, once that's over, and like you said, it rules in the other guy's favor, it's dismissed, whatever. They bring you back, right? Because they have to, because you're not guilty of anything. So,
right.
And then the next step is to investigate it to see if you violated any internal policies. And so, like, it's very subjective when it comes to policies, because I can tell you right now, as a government employee, everyone violates policies, right? There's not one swinging dick in the federal systems, local systems, whatever, that's not violating some type of policy, because policies are just that. They're just written procedures, right? Written ways of doing things. But sometimes there's not written words for the things that you do. So when you're doing these things,
it might be minor, but it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I can tell you this, okay? So speaking on the topic, is that, okay, so in law enforcement, you get issued a firearm, right? And in the firearm, there's cardinal safety rules, right? Because obviously a firearm is dangerous, right? It's a dangerous object that is utilized as a tool to perform your job in law enforcement.
To kill.
Exactly. So it's
not to maim.
it's treat all firearms that they're loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger. Know your backstop and beyond, right? So you don't point at anything you don't intend to kill. And what is it? Treat, never, keep, threat. Yeah, that's basically it, right? So know your threat, backstop and beyond, and don't point it at anything you don't intend to kill. Keep your finger off the trigger, and so forth, right? When you go to these academies, right, and I'm almost positive, I can only speak for the federal side of things, every law enforcement academy I've been on in the federal government, they tell you, like guys especially that have a lot of issues coming out of the holster, shooting their firearm, hey, when you go back to the barracks, you go back to your room, you need to be practicing your weapon draws and dry fire, right?
Yeah, you tell me about that.
Yep, so when you practice your weapon draws and dry fire.
How old girl almost caught you that one time.
That's it. So this is it, man.
Sorry, I'm fucking bringing up old shit.
That's it.
I'm gonna do that. You show me the video.
Absolutely, dude. And so when you're doing that, right, you have your fucking duty holster on and you're coming out, and you're practicing. You're going over and
muscle memory, repetition,
Yep. And so when you're doing these things, right, you're practicing, right? What are you doing when you're coming out of the holster? You're punching that fucking weapon system out. Where? In a more than likely in your house. That's not a area that you would point in generally.
Yeah, but if you're following your cardinal rules, you're pointing it in directions that
that are safe. But nothing's really safe in your house, right? You'd have to go to a range. What I'm getting at here is that
but what do you guys shoot? 45?
9s, but regardless, right? Listen, I'm kind of trying to get to a point here that policies are always violated. When you go to your home and you practice your weapon draws and dry fire, right? What are you doing? Dry fire, you're squeezing the trigger.
Yeah.
Keep your finger off the trigger as part of the 4 cardinal safety rules. It's in our policies, right? So that being said, you're violating that policy when you are doing that practice that is being taught by that agency. The agency's telling you. When I say the agency, it's the instructors that teach these classes.
Yeah.
They're telling you, as an agency instructor, you guys need to go practice this. Go to your house or go wherever, right? You can go to a gun range.
Still somewhere safe.
You can still go. Yeah, I remember under some testimony that one of the employees were like, "Hey, I go to my basement." That's a good idea.
Yeah,
but let me tell you this
probably.
much: does it? They say that specifically go to your basement? No, dude. I can tell you right now, I do it all the time in my house. Now I go fucking upstairs in my room, different thresholds. I'm always practicing coming out in a practical way, as if you're in a house.
Yeah.
That's the only way you become a good shooter. That's the only way you become proficient at your job. I can tell you that right now.
Are you always checking out the biceps as they come out, though?
Yeah, right. You gotta make sure they're pumped up. But but I can give you a good example, right?
Yeah.
I'm violating policy every day. If you took a photo of me when I'm practicing that, I'm going to I'm going to get in trouble, right? Every day, right? I mean, really. But that's what took place. And so what the The argument is that anything the agency teaches you, right? How can that be conduct that's unbecoming? And then what is being said, obviously, in a defense is like, well, no, you shouldn't do it that way, though. Or you shouldn't do it with that fucking person that has vendetta against you for fucking ever and doesn't want to fucking, you know what I mean?
Well, they're trying to set me up. What can I
leverage.
do?
It's called leverage.
And
Right?
also, there are things out of my control. There are things that are out of my control. I can't control what a person's going to do to try and frame me.
I can't speak for another person either. Yeah. So that being said, man, like I said, like I'm nowhere am I ever saying that, you know, I'm innocent of, I'm just this fucking godsend, right? Sure. Was I doing something that wasn't the best thing ever? Like to give somebody like that an opportunity? I'll agree with you, hindsight 2020 that in this moment, right?
Yeah.
But that situation is not that, right? That Jason is not that, right? And so that's not, I wouldn't say fair. I know it sounds kind of weasel or like crybaby-ish, but it's just not fair to persecute me over that one fucking situation. When another thing too, with the dynamics of the evidence that came out after the fact, right? And also the dynamics that come out about my character, my credibility, right? I've never had any reason to lie. And I remember like going over my head million times. I remember when I started seeing this stuff, I'm like, dude, I don't even remember that fucking day. Ooh. And so when I didn't, and I spoke on the truth, right? I'm under oath, right? And I take that very seriously. When I say I'm under oath, like I literally like God's in the fucking room. So I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie to you. And
I'm speculating, right? Yeah. I'm going off of the photo you're showing me that I didn't even take. So if that's true and it's not been edited and everything else, sure, it does look like this, or sure, it's that. That's where I put my foot in my mouth, and I shouldn't have said any of that. I should have just said, I don't know. I'm not speculating on a video that I don't know what's been edited. I should have just kept on saying that. But obviously, I learned a lot in that situation, right? Because that's what happens. The government tries to hem you up, and I'll tell you right now. If I watch you long enough, I will get you on something, right? Yeah. It's called surveillance, right?
Yeah.
If I have the resources to park a car out in front of your house, I can watch you long enough to know everything that you do throughout your day, including if I go into your house, right? You have a reasonable expectation of privacy. If I can go on your devices and stuff like that, watch you on your fucking your Wi-Fi cameras, I will fucking find out more about you that you're doing that could be crazy, like illegal. Right. And then I'm going to use it against you. Right. So no matter what, you're going to be like in a situation where you're kind of wrong. Right. And so when I was going through all my stuff, I'm like, you know, I obviously I hold myself to high standards. So I was thinking like that when I was going through that stuff. But now that I know better, now I've learned a lot right through the process, and I also help other, employees, law enforcement officers. You're not a
fucking lifetime. You're not a career criminal of like knowing how the system works.
Yeah,
but no one's half the battle. Once you know it, you can fucking engage.
Absolutely.
Properly.
And also too, like there's service, right? Like I look at it like, I was going through my stuff the other day. You know, remember I told you I bought that house, right? So I got a new house and everything else. And you know, I'm going through my boxes and stuff, and I'm pulling out old stuff, like old certificates of like training, like, you know, FBI evidence response team shit, like fucking old military SRT shit, dude. Like old, like, you know, fucking, you know, just all these trainings and all these fucking like, you know, schools and fucking certs, education and stuff like that. And I'm looking, I got my 15-year government service thing like a year late back in 2022. So I'm coming up on, 20 years. And I'm looking back and I'm like thinking to myself, like, I've never been in trouble once. And look what I went through just over this. Now, I understand that the allegation itself was a serious allegation. But dude, like I provided all this evidence as if I'm like, hey, listen, guys, this is everything. And it's, dude, if you saw some of it, it would have just shut anybody up. And I still got persecuted.
I seen just how, even if you were like you said, if you were completely without sin.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I don't think anyone claims to ever be without sin. And I don't mean that in the biblical way. I'm just saying, just think of a sin as like something that you probably shouldn't be doing.
It's missing the mark.
Sometimes you fuck up, you know? And then we're not talking about, you don't fuck up by, say, like, hurting someone and then, like, not agreeing to it. But I'm talking about, you know, if I don't engage properly and I let things happen, or I don't do things in a healthy manner even, those can be fuck up. But at the end of the day, originally the whole reason why I even cut you off was to laugh at feminists, just to explain that, look, we live in such a society that even a guy that was clear of everything and went through the system of the judicial stuff, that like they they dealt a man a different set of standards than they probably would have a woman in that position.
Absolutely.
Because they assumed he was the
Mhm.
aggressor to everything and he's violent and this and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there you go. I mean, and it was in your favor that none of this happened. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate, very blessed. I think, when I look back on a lot of the situation, everything, right? Like, when you call the police and, you're like, this and this and this happened. And they're like, they come in, they do an investigation. And you're like, you know what? I fucking lied. Get the fuck out.
oh god,
Like,
I remember that.
Yeah, like you would think that you'd be charged for that, right? Like you would think, and it's like, that didn't happen, right? So I remember reading over that situation
God
over and
damn.
over and over again, dude. And I was just like thinking to myself, well, what made that like law enforcement officers and prosecutors not even think about charging that? And you're absolutely right. It's because she's a she, right? So like they're just thinking to themselves, no jury's gonna go with this because she's just gonna, whatever the heck.
Well, she's a white she with a black he.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
That's honestly what it is.
Some Mississippi burning shit, dude.
I'm telling you right now,
dude,
dog.
fucking, I was a
I mean, I
nappy
hate-
headed fucking.
Look, you're in a majority white neighborhood.
Yeah.
You're in an affluent neighborhood,
Yeah.
and it's all because of you.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck. Hey,
Yeah, they don't
chill
know who's
out,
paying the
brother.
bills,
Don't be
yeah.
beating up on the. That's what
Yeah,
they're thinking,
bro.
right?
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
upstairs, like you're completely cool.
Yeah, I was like, well, okay, guys. Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I play it out so many different ways in my head, right? But it all had to happen.
Yeah.
This stuff had to happen. Like,
But did the cross get a little bit lighter when you came through on that other end of
yeah,
all
no,
those
the
problems?
cross has been lighter, man. I've been the truth comes out. I'm a big. You have to be, right. Truth is truth. I
Yeah.
mean, like, there's not your truth, my truth. It's the truth, right?
Yeah.
So when these things come out, it's like it's been an amazing ride. It's been a crazy ride. I've gotten closer with my family, my friends. I found out who my real friends are. Right. I found out a lot of things about
Not
life.
Baker. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, fuck Justin Baker. Yeah, dude.
I'm kidding,
That
Baker.
guy's a fuck.
If you do listen to this,
He's in Colorado, I think, right now.
is he living
Yeah.
there?
He's doing like some traveling stuff.
I bet he is, being a nurse or whatever the
dude.
fuck he does.
Speaking of having kids, that guy needs a kid.
Dude,
That'll
yeah,
wake
he
him the
does.
fuck up,
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Must be nice not having anything in life to look forward to.
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't agree.
No,
with
there
that.
are some
Like, yeah.
times that like I do look at
Yeah,
people
of
that don't have
course.
kids. I'm like, oh man, that must be nice.
I can
Being
honestly.
able to travel whenever you want.
Well, obviously, it's nice, right? Like, I have a dog, so like when I go to work, it sucks. I feel bad putting him in the cage, like that type of like feeling. Like, we're like, damn, if I didn't have this guy here, I would.
I say about
Yeah.
Gavin. I
Yeah,
say if
I
I didn't
hear
have
you.
Gavin, I'd be able to go to New Orleans whenever I wanted.
Yeah, stuff like that. But at the same time, though, bro, how could you take back like the experience? Exactly.
Because guess what? I get to look forward to coming home to every day.
dude. Yeah. So they say, what is it? Was it Nietzsche, right?
Nietzsche?
He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how, right? And I look at my life and all the things that I have in my life that I'm grateful for, the first thing that comes to my mind are our two children, right? So if I didn't have that, I think going through that's a lot of why for me, right? And so
Good call.
so when those two kids were watching me go through what I went through, all that why was just compounding, and then the how came through. You know what I mean? So that's important, man. When you have stuff like this, is gifts by God, man, and because it's life, and there's nothing much more that you could ask for. There's no, Colorado trips and stuff like that. He's cool, man.
Or motorcycles you really can't afford.
Stuff like that,
Or
dude.
just all motorcycle shit.
Yeah, dude. Courtesy of the Van Buren Township Police Department.
I was
Yeah, courtesy of the Van Buren Township Police Department.
I didn't know you got into motorcycles. I seen that. I was like, damn, man, that's cool.
Yeah, well, I used to ride crotch rock. I used to have CBR 1000.
Oh,
I had
okay.
two of them. I wrecked
That
one.
was
yeah.
when you were a gay guy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That was a lot of weird shit going on.
A lot of
Like,
gay guys,
yeah.
He actually told me today, he's like, there's a cuss word I can't say. I'm like, what? He goes, I said, you can say it to Dad. That's fine. Just tell me what you think it is. He goes, gay. I'm like, yeah, don't say that, bro.
Oh, it goes backwards. Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
need you getting in trouble at school.
No, yeah. It means happy, actually.
Yeah,
So
it does.
Yeah.
You, you a gay boy?
No, man. These kids, like, he's He's growing up in a crazy time, man. You know what I mean? And we got to protect these
I'm
guys.
really scared for him.
Nah,
man.
dude, don't be scared. Get tough, right? You got to raise them right.
I do like it because I you see what goes on in our current state, our current government. When we got a vice president that goes into interviews and he goes, "I don't give a fuck."
Yeah.
You know, talking about immigrants that are here wrongfully or illegally, but then they are committing crimes. I don't care what your feelings are about immigration. Like we kind of talked about, the abortion and women's rights when it comes to when you have a government that when being criticized by the media that says like, why, people are illegal and they come here, that doesn't mean that they're all bad. And he's like, of course not.
Yeah, of course.
The fuck does that mean? Like, I love people that want to change their lives.
Yeah.
I don't love people that come here and want to hurt people.
Yeah.
Or just continue their old habits, continue their shit from their fucking shit hole of a country. You just can't do that, bro. You got to be here on some good shit. You can't be here on some, I want to start killing people, lighting them on fire, shooting people, raping, killing.
The only thing I can say, if I may, obviously that's my job, right? That's what I do. I think it's a shame that people still have to come at it with a reason to justify their stance on a law that passed the House. It's a law. It's a federal law. So you and I have to follow that law too. In fact, you do. If you fly out of the United States and you come back, you have to be inspected by an immigration officer. So if you don't, you're violating Title VIII offenses. So you should be held accountable for that too. And if you don't agree with the law, there's a process that can get rid of that law. That needs to start going. But right now, you still have to follow the law. So I don't understand why. Well, I understand because people are gaslit. They're gaslit into saying if you somehow support immigration laws that you're like a racist and like you don't want people to come on your Nantucket Island. But at the end of the day, that's just culture and human process, man. If you look at all the way back to civilization, we've always had villages and like certain boundaries that are set, without drawing a physical line. Like, right? I mean, villages were established, and if another fucking like community or whatever the hell came through, there's like a fucking little fight maybe, but maybe they were cool. Like, but at the end of the day, that's not where we're at here, right? China, Russia, all these other countries, they don't fucking operate the way that we do or have with our laws. They're very serious with their laws. So are we when we want to be. Why is it that it's weaponized? That's the questions that should be asked.
Political reasons.
Well, that needs to stop because weaponization should be against the law as well.
It is.
Right?
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're trying, the government now, they're trying, well, they just did. Trump, they just put in an executive order, or no, they're trying to pass a law, I believe it is, that just went through Congress that says if you pretty much run a sanctuary city, you can get arrested for that.
Yeah, well, it's harboring.
Yeah,
it's a harboring law.
Essentially, in my opinion,
you're harboring non-citizens.
These are valid offenses against the United States government and the people of the United States. And no, dude, I'm not talking about your typical, immigrant who's really trying to seek a better life, who maybe did get in a situation in their previous country that's horrible. Again, to repeat our, I forget his name now. I think he's Department of Homeland Security.
Thomas Holman.
See the dude that kind of has a weird speech pattern.
He's the border czar.
Yeah, border czar.
Yeah, border czar. Yeah,
he
was our old director.
Go through the proper paths of
he was our
entry.
old director. Yeah.
If you want to come here and you really do want to seek
do
asylum,
port of entry.
Port of entry.
Yeah,
you come here illegally, be expected to go back. Now, be expected to go back.
Well, it should always be that, right? And it has been the case. And I will say this too, again, like we keep on saying, like, oh, these are just people that come here for a good life. I don't know anybody that's not trying to have a good life. I don't know anybody that's not trying to perspire to be a better fucking financial situation, right? So like I think everyone wants to fucking live in Nantucket Island, with their mule and shit. But at the end of the day, dude, like we all have these things to do, right? And they're called like rules to follow, right? It's just culture for us that you have to have order. If you don't, it's chaos. So the previous administration, that was an administration of chaos. What they did was, I can tell you just on my personal opinion is, sure, they didn't abolish ICE, right? You know what they did effectively though? They slowed down the mission of ICE by outrageous policies, stuff.
Right.
It's like things that would take 20 minutes now take 20 days. Things that that you wouldn't have to check off, you now got to check off. And all this other stuff. And these weren't even ACLU or Supreme Court like fucking egregious violations, like things that were being brought up that were like reasonable to at least say, hey man, this might be a little better to do it this way. This is literally a use of executive powers to perform negligence. And
Crazy.
yeah, dude. And the fact that people swallow this, like these, so like anybody that lived in like Arizona, California, New Orleans, there's a big facility out there. Texas.
Yeah, the dude that ran the door at my wedding was like, I mean, here's my card. If you're ever in trouble out this way, call me. And he was like, he specifically handled guns involving migrants.
Yeah, so
If
he's a
there's ever
special.
gun.
So he's like a specialty lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there's a ruling in Chicago that I forget what level it was at, but basically the judge said that it was like basically cool for a non-citizen to have a firearm. Yeah,
No, bro, you don't have the rights we got, bro.
No, dude. Like, well, you do. You actually. Well, so I'll say this.
You have a right to an attorney.
You,
and all
well,
that.
you have. Well,
Everybody
in a criminal proceeding, not like administrative. Is, yeah, administrative. So every immigration arrest, if it's not criminal, it's administrative.
So they can say, "Hey, I want a lawyer."
Yeah, they can't. Like, I can give them a list of attorneys.
Yeah, but isn't your case pretty much? It doesn't matter whether you have a lawyer or not. You're just slowing your deportation.
Well, obviously, you can't. Like, okay, what I always say is Citizen Immigration Services has adjudicators for fear and asylum claims. So, like, if I make an arrest and the guy's like, "Hey, I claim fear," I tell him like to basically shut the hell up. Like when he goes into details, because I'm like, dude, I don't adjudicate your fear. I just basically put it on my police report and basically just say, hey, this guy claims fear, right? So like when you're claiming fear, you just claim fear, yes or no. But these guys will say, well, I kind of fear the gangs, or I kind of fear this. I don't play those games of like, oh, okay, well, this isn't reasonable fear, because I'm not a fear adjudicator. So why is the ICE guy even making comments on it? You literally just have to. Basically just you're disseminating that information to who? Citizen Immigration Services. Who do what? Who fucking knows?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a fuck. If you're military age man, get the fuck out of here.
I hear you, brother.
You're an invader at that point.
Yeah.
You are a complete invader, and I don't trust you as far as I can throw your.
If you're
ass.
okay, I'll say this, if I may.
That's my personal opinion.
You're entitled to
I think
it.
women and children are bring them, and if they say they're fearful, even if they're not, let them stay. That's fine.
You're entitled to it, but I want to give you some insight, Kev. I love you, brother, and I want you to like have good insight.
This is the Mixed and Moderate podcast, bro. I'm moderate on this.
You're definitely not my complexion.
I'm not the mixed part.
Yeah, dude. But no, it's cool. Like, I like it. This is good. I want to give you some really good advice and information, right?
I mean, this is just straight from the front lines.
Yeah, dude. People that come here through our processes, absolutely, right? It's a Holman comment, right? But you're right, Kev. If it's a military age man that's coming here through the border unlawfully, absolutely, dude. Donald Trump, all those guys, that's what they're all about. The average liberal is starting to figure this out, because what's going on there? There's comments about guys eating cats. There's all this other weird shit, right? And you laugh, but it's real. You know what it is? It's culture clash.
Yeah, but they are safe. They came safe. The government said, no, you can go to Ohio. I'm not saying that.
Oh, yeah, that was the previous administration. But those guys are definitely. I can tell you.
I don't think they're leaving. Haiti's fucked up.
Nah, dude. Well, I mean, I will say
Haiti's got cannibal gangs, dude. I'll pull up the clips. I watched them.
I bet.
Stabbed a dude in the chest, open up his heart, and eat it. Why is it still pumping?
Yeah, bro. There's some fucking.
I have to see that though. It's fucked up.
I hear you. It's fucked up.
Because you got to know what the world's about. If you're gonna be the person that defends us having closed borders, you got to almost have that ready on a phone and say, "You want to see what they're doing over there?"
Absolutely. But people like that don't. There's a lot of people. Okay, it's like the. I just recently listened to A Man's Search for Meaning. I forget who the author is, but Peterson talked about it, and I was like, let me listen to this, because I don't read.
Well, no, word of mouth is
I just like
humans
Audible.
have always done.
I think it's like my autism or something. But anyways,
you're still gaining information.
Yeah, I do it on my drives, right? And like, so anyways, it's basically it's like a bibliography of a Holocaust survivor that like basically becomes this like crazy doctor, psychologist, introduces logos theory, right? Logos therapy and stuff like that. And anyways, like what he says the same thing, right? Like when the only way for you to know about certain things is to watch it, right? So if you know evil like you know that laws are pretty fucking cool, right? Like that you know that they're going to protect you from being exposed and your children exposed and your women exposed to real violence, real evil. And
we're not talking about somebody breaking into your car, stealing change.
We're extremely fortunate in this country to not have to see that when we stop at our red lights, when we look left or right, when we go to the gym, when we go to our store.
Very civilized society.
We see it, right? I'm not saying we're free from it. Best believe I'm a big advocate of trying to find solutions for school shootings, any spree killings, right? Anything evil. I think it's natural for us to say, hey, this sucks, dude. Like, let's try to figure out ways to prevent it. But I can tell you right now, it's not a knee-jerk reaction in a law. It's moral aptitude. It's ethical. But
there's people that tell you your law isn't your morality. But what they fail to realize is there's a reason why there's that law there, and it's to sustain the population here. And if the government doesn't protect their people, what good what good is the government?
Exactly. Well, like I said, it goes back to negligence, right? This the word of the day for the Mixed Moderate Patriot podcast, episode 4, is negligence.
I think that's been the word of the day a couple of podcasts ago.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
It's important, man. Yeah, because that's exactly what it is. Because negligence can be subjective, but it's extremely objective when you look at the totality of the circumstance and what you want to just be left alone, right? Or like have a good situation where you're not exposed to evil, right?
But why is it fought?
Well, I mean,
because it wasn't in 2008.
Yeah.
The deporter in chief, Barack Obama himself, he did more than anyone.
Well, but because we have more sources to information, so that's my opinion. I think it's just because technology, like how it is today, like look at this podcast, right? Anyone can talk now, so I think we're exposed to it more. Like it's more readily available. It's that Chappelle joke, how he said like back in
so he was fortunate to get around it because there wasn't enough eyes on it.
Yeah, I mean that
mattered.
That's why that Chappelle joke about the Challenger, blowing up when he was a kid. Okay, everybody go home now. And then now he goes, I feel bad for this generation because now that's happening 23 times a day, 25 times a day to our kids. So now we're being calloused, right? So we're being calloused to information, and we're also being calloused to evil. So our ability to like receive it and actually grieve has basically diminished. We're not grieving properly.
Do you think we were better when we were in an ignorant society?
Not ignorant, but basically just not being force-fed evil.
Well, ignorance isn't that you are willfully having this happen.
Sure.
You don't know.
You just don't know. Well, I can tell you that if you want to know, you can find out, right? I mean, obviously today, but I will say source of information. So I can tell you this much. This is a basic life rule you should live by, right? Uh-huh. And a lot of law enforcement officers know this term, especially good detectives, investigators, criminal investigators. It's trust but verify, right? Yeah. So we're having a conversation. Say you're at the gas station, you're having a conversation with a guy, and say let's give an example.
12-inch dick.
Well, I was going to use an analogy of like maybe something happened in a shooting, but if you want to talk about the guy's cock, we can do that. So, but that's actually something you could verify.
Yeah. Let's
so like you can unzip your fucking pants, dude, and show me that thing. Or I could just say, you know what, that dude's got a pretty big dick. I'm gonna get back in my car and I'm out. I don't really care that he's got a big dick.
Right.
But say he like let's if we bring it back to a more professional realm. Hey, dude, fucking there's a school shooting in fucking North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Say this guy says that. But did you hear about it? I'm like, no. I'm gonna get in my car, and what am I gonna do? Am I gonna tell everybody there's a fucking school shooting in North Carolina? The guy from the gas station told me.
Right.
Or are you going to go and fucking verify this by what? Collaborating information, sources of information.
Yeah, but a professional does that. All right. Not all professionals do that.
Like an interview.
But have you seen fucking TikToks?
Yeah, no, for sure.
No, it's crazy. Yeah, like when they put a freeze on funding.
Yeah.
All these people came out and said, how am I going to live? I don't get my benefits.
Yeah,
and then they specifically came out and said, your benefits are fine. Hey, and they still kept those TikToks up, dude.
Yeah.
Fucked. Our people are stupid, man.
Well, for sure. I'm starting to realize like maybe just people haven't taken enough like psilocybin in their life, like by chance. I don't know. I don't know why people are so dumb.
Don't put yourself in a position to be that dependent on somebody else. I mean, I'm not saying life isn't hard for people, and I don't want to discourage people that have those issues. I hope I never get put into a position where I have to have dependency on somebody else. I mean, single mothers, I feel bad for them, And I'm not saying like, oh God, tough it up, bitch. I'm just saying like, put yourselves in positions to succeed without the help of another. And you wouldn't have to make these fucking TikToks where you're out looking like fucking shit, by the way. Lady had no teeth. Sorry, Jay. I keep it real, dude, and I'm funny.
I hear you,
All
man.
right, though. I know
I
you're
got
like
you,
not
bro.
want to talk about 12-inch dicks.
12-inch
But
dicks are pretty
look,
cool.
man, people got to get that edge off.
Yeah.
Because it's a crazy world we're living
Yeah,
in.
it is, it
and
is.
me and you opening up discussion, you're laughing. Kevin really fucking believes that professional people are, professional all the way around. No, they're not. I get that. But
Yeah, I hear you.
this motherfucker, man.
It's all good.
No, you're bringing up valid points, man. I know, at the end of the day, I do wonder, is technology to the point where, like, is freedom a detriment sometimes? Us being able, and what I mean by that is, like, our freedom to express views, like, is that a detriment? Again, this is a Jordan Peterson moment where I'm not saying I have an opinion on it, either one way or the other. Just a question. Remember, he was asked one time, hey, what do you think about women in the workplace? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it depends.
And he
depends
assumed,
on the situation.
and not even that. He's just like, I don't know. We'd have to look into it. The women had only been in the workplace for 50 years. They turned it around on him like he was some fucking animal. How dare you? Like,
Yeah, they wanted to crucify him.
yeah, but he said, wait a minute. I'm pondering something. You just fucking asked me a question, asshole.
It fueled his fire, though.
I'll send him to where he's at now.
Yeah, dude, he's huge.
Yeah.
I truly believe Jordan Peterson is some type of prophet. I know it sounds like some biblical shit. I don't know. I feel like something's up with that guy, man. Like they say, like he always says, right? You watch someone long enough, you'll figure out what they're up to. It's like I've been watching him now. I remember what I first heard of Jordan Peterson was from my ex's sister, who everyone thought was crazy and a quack and like only eating bananas for a whole year or some shit.
Like, it wasn't her, it was his sister that was the quack. But anyways,
yeah, right. But anyways, so. She talked about Peterson all the time, right? And I'm like, I'll listen to him. He's a guy from Canada. He's a professor at Harvard, blah, blah, blah. And then finally I started listening to him like forever. Like I think he was like under 1 million subscribers. And I was interested. I started listening and then things were just pinging off. It made sense. And the next thing you know, dude, I'm like listening every day. I'm like listening to it at the gym. And I'm like, dude, I'm like addicted to this fucking guy. And then I'm like, so now I'm like trying to analyze. I'm like, let me try to hate this guy, right? That's what I'm trying. Like, let me try.
That's a good idea.
Let me try to dislike some of the comments he said, and I just couldn't do it. Like, he was on a podcast with a couple of Catholic. One guy was a Catholic. I think one guy was a Jewish guy that was like they were talking about religious philosophy and stuff like that. And he started talking about religion and why religion has basically caused such a turnover for people to call themselves non-religious, right? And he's an emotional guy, right? And he does cry a lot, And he got emotional, was crying, and basically said, "Well, basically like the rules of the churches, the rules of religion, right? It's not used to basically shame, right? It's not supposed to be like it's this and that. It's about shaming. It's more about just I don't want to see you burn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's so true.
Yeah, but like think about that though. That guy owes nobody that.
I know.
But he loves people.
He loves
humanity.
He does love humanity. As much as people say like, well, he grew up studying evil, right? So and I think there is an amount of evil that you can
that's
fill
a
up
true
on.
fucking Christian, bro.
Yeah, dude.
To the death.
He's done the in-depth studies on real bad things, but also at the same time he's done good things. And there's some people that say he's just kind of like a doom and gloom guy. I don't believe that. Yeah, I don't believe that, but I do believe that he has a lot of knowledge about evil, but he also has a lot of knowledge just about the process of our minds, right? The process where we go. Like, lots of things that have to be done. We have to go through these things, and unnecessary suffering is definitely that, right? It's unnecessary, so don't do it. But there is something to be said about voluntary suffering.
But suffering, I've had this conversation with a bunch of people. When you say suffering, that doesn't mean what people think automatically of suffering, like stepping on glass and walking through miles of glass. That doesn't mean suffering. No. Suffering could be as easy as like, I don't want to get into this cold plunge.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm going to suffer for that 3 minutes.
Don't eat till 6 p.m. every day.
That could be a suffer. Yeah. Or my son, right? I've seen this popular Instagram reel, and it was, yeah, man, my wife doesn't let our kids suffer. And the lady's like, huh? And he's like, no, you're getting it all wrong. The kid doesn't need 50 snacks throughout the day to, again, get to his meal and then not want to eat.
Yeah.
Let him suffer.
Yeah.
And suffer just in the sense of the longing not to be in a particular
not getting
state.
Immediate gratification.
Yes. So when you say that, it makes more sense. And the average listener, whoever's listening to this, has to understand that as well. That's why I bring that up, is because when you say that, it's assumed a negative position.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, hey, suffer, that sounds horrible. Nah, man, we're not saying take a fucking bullet to the stomach.
Yeah, it's semantics. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, these games of semantics have to stop being played in the negative realm, right? We have to look at what's being meant by the person, right? Like the character again, right? So it's like with his character, I've only seen things that want to perspire the world. They want to fulfill the world, like do things that are like good things. And
and he says that.
Yeah, he does.
Which is weird, and then people don't believe him. So there are people that hate him because he has a political alignment, I guess, or an ideological alignment.
I personally think it's just because it's just like topic. Like I think that they're like, I think every person that sees something that is too good to be true, it's hard to swallow, right? Yeah. They don't want to take it in for what it is. It's like there's a reason why he's attracting so many different age groups, so many different gender, anything, right? Like even I'm sure he's attracted to
just normal hate,
just humans, right? And so I think, that's natural envy, right? It's envy. They missed the mark. And there's a lot of things that I've learned religiously just through him, because obviously I didn't grow up religious. My mom I was raised with my brother, right? And single family home. My grandma helped raise us, and we didn't go to church. And and I even in military, what's your religious preference? Everyone's claiming, they're just Christian, right? And I was like, well, no religious preference because I don't know what I am, right? Like I don't know what it is. Like, and I just know that humans are full of shit, so I'm not going to believe words that they say or words that they write, right? So others call me agnostic. I don't technically even believe that. I just believe in God, right? So it's like I think that's okay too. I think that I don't think you have to claim a fucking title, right? Like I'm not a baby born that you just got to put a name on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's important to understand that analogy in life, and once you understand that, you can continue to move on in a good way without being in this way being judged, right? In the Bible, right? Thou shalt not judge, stuff like that. I used to think that taking the Lord's name in vain literally just meant saying God, right? Or Jesus fucking Christ or some crazy shit, right? Saying a term, right? That was considered like bad. But actually it's really just people who prance around and say that they're doing something in the name of God. So a good example now is like the stuff with abortions and stuff like that. If you're pro-life, there's people that literally like just cast it into a church realm. And well, it's like, well, I don't think you should be doing that because that's kind of taking the Lord's name in vain. I think you should just be saying it's not right.
Don't tell me what you think God thinks.
Exactly.
You don't say what God thinks.
You don't get to do that. You're using the Lord's name in vain when you do that.
Right.
So because there's exactly right.
Good
It's like murder, right? Charlie, I forget his last name. That dude,
Hebdo.
Yeah. Okay. He's like he's a conservative
Charlie
guy.
Hebdo. No.
Yeah.
That's what happened in France. That was that publication of France that had a terrorist attack in it.
This Charlie guy, he started like some type of conservative group.
Kirk.
Oh, there you go, Charlie Kirk. So he likes the
Heritage Foundation or some shit.
Yeah, some point.
No, Turning Point USA.
Turning Point. Yep. And so he's like extremely intelligent, and that's what he's good at. But I'm like thinking to myself, like, but you're also, I think he gets off on it. Obviously,
he's a troll.
Yeah, exactly.
In some ways.
In some ways, because
he's not. What's the term we're looking for? Doing something with intention and in good faith. He's not a good faith actor all the time.
I don't want to go out that far and say that because I'm sure that he does want the best, but I know that
not if you want to own the lib in front of you.
Yeah, see, that's silly.
That's what he wants. Sometimes he wants to own the libs.
Yeah, because that's again not in a way of using the Lord's name in vain, but you're publicizing things to just embarrass people. I think, and I think that's not going to gain good group members. I think you're just going to gain people that are just like, I like this team because we get to make fun of the other, right? And it's like, how about we focus on community? I like that he likes to educate because he does. He's extremely intelligent. He spits.
You're not going to get you catch more flies with honey.
There you go.
Do shit.
And I get that I get the stand for something thing, right? But like I listen to some of the stuff that he says, and I just end up turning it off because he's not doing himself any favors when he brings on these people that are they're just really lost. right? And they're not founded by any. There's no ground. There's no foundation to them, and so it's like. I hope he's doing good. I do. I'm not talking shit about this guy. I do. I hope he's gaining.
Well, you're talking shit if he's fucking if his intention is to really help these people.
Yeah.
Again, he's not coming
I hope
in good
it's good
faith.
intention. I hope it's good intention because he is, especially when it comes to religion, right? I'm not going to sit here and pound books and stuff and say, read this, read that, or do this, do that. But I do believe that when somebody does find God, right, or find Jesus, what have you, right? A process to this life, right? This life is hard enough to go without having some type of believer in something more than you. So when you put it all on you, it's a lot for that one person. So it's good to see people relieved of that burden, because the burden's for Jesus, right? I mean, he died for our sins.
Yeah,
and so. And it's a theoretical way of living, right? Yeah, man. I get the atheist. I get it. I understand. I get it, man. Like, we don't know shit. We're just kind of fucking hanging out, and we're making it one day at a time. It's all about just doing the right thing, man. And man, when you take things into perspective, you got to enjoy the times that you have that where they're not bad.
yeah.
So you got to enjoy all the good when they're good, and when they're bad, stay strong and know that nothing's ever constant. Because when you start having those mindsets, that's when you go into a dark place. You go to a place where sometimes I can just speak from experience. I didn't think there was getting out of it. I didn't think you could get out of darkness when I was in it. Because like the world was kind of caving in.
Yeah.
Everything I knew was upside down. Other than my children, that's what kept me grounded. I think if it wasn't for the kids, because I've trained physically and mentally to be strong, but there's nothing that you can do spiritually to train your spirit. To go through the dark times outside of having like a faith or like some type of belief structure of there's something happening for a reason. And if you believe that everything is just a science one and zero of what this all is, there's not much why you have in life to bear those hows. So I think it's important to know that if you're going to continue this journey, you better find something other than yourself. But that being said, too, I'm about done with government. Like on my way out, right? Like, so like I have like 9 years left till eligibility for retirement.
What's a planned private?
So
contracted stuff.
I got about 3 years left of my master's in public administration at Eastern. So I plan on teaching.
Okay.
I'll probably go teach. I don't know what yet. Probably just started off in criminal justice 101, maybe some
sex ed.
Yeah. Sex ed. Yeah. This here's a Willie. This here's a
here's that 12 inch that she's talking about.
You put this and that, and then we come out.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a pretty fucking
no,
easy.
sir, you're teaching this all wrong. You're supposed to talk about gay sex.
Well, gay sex.
My bad. That's just sex with dudes.
I think everything's gay if you look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't put a finger in a butthole every now and then? You know,
Cat Williams just fucking said that.
Really?
But he goes, look, they say that the man's G-spot is in his booty hole.
I've been hearing this
many
times.
He goes, and I guess I'll just never experience that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not anything I'm into. But it's not gay if a woman does it to you. It's gay if she pegs you.
Yeah, like just fucking jams it in there.
No, it's gay if she pegs you.
Yeah, yeah. Fucking
But if
like,
she's
takes like a fake
blowing
dick
you and like then throws in some fingers, not saying that I've ever done it because I haven't, because I'm still worried about that.
Well, my thing is, obviously,
And like if there's a phallus shaped object going into you,
yeah,
it might be.
I mean, dude, I think sexuality is something that can be slightly fluid. I'm not saying that like you should go full blow gay if you're not gay, but because that's by force. Right?
With another man, that is gay.
That is gay. Yeah.
But if it's a woman providing arousal to you,
like it's love. Like if you love
Yeah.
your woman, like you can experience.
maybe
things.
she wants that.
Yeah, I mean, if you should be comfortable in a bedroom, right? Like you should be comfortable in your house. You should be comfortable everywhere you go.
No.
So that being said, like I honestly think my opinion of all this stuff with sex and everything that's going on in today's world is I think it's just evil. I do. I think it's like some type of weird because like you're jumping down rabbit holes.
No.
It's like pornography, right?
Even if
Like,
you're married,
huh?
even if you're married, it's not evil to have sex if you're married.
I think that
you're
you can go down rabbit
evil
holes
if you're not procreating.
No. I'm saying that you're missing the mark if you think like, say watching porn to get off with your girl. Like, I'm not judging by any means. I'm just telling you what I believe. All right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, dude.
Yeah. Like, but there are people that judge people. I don't judge people, man. Like, you want to fucking like put foots and shit in yourself. Like, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the transgender thing. I tell my kids, right? I'm like, why do you care if someone cares if they're a woman or a man or not? Like, you're not fucking them.
FBI, open up!
Jay don't want to go down that path.
Damn it, they got me. All right, Kev, I'll be out. I'll be out soon.
No, but I mean, I still tell my kid. We talked about him saying the word gay. I said that's typically when you like a boy likes another boy or a girl likes another girl. And I said you like girls. I'm just telling him that because look, even like I don't hate gay people. That's a harder life to live if you want to go down that path.
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now, just based off of biology, it's deformity. Is it not?
I mean, I would say it is because if science, all things point to science, like we're here to procreate, and it's not a pleasure thing because everyone will say, well, dogs will fuck another boy dog.
Well, they also don't have like
but they also fuck women too,
yeah,
and
exactly. They'll fuck a lot.
Procreate.
Yeah.
So they're individuals that like to be out there.
Yeah, we're not dogs.
But there are gay men that are the gay men that are feminine. They have a lot of attributes that would align with like a woman or or if you're
the personality
attracted to it, that's fine. Whatever, that don't bother me. It's not like I'm not so fragile. I can't have the conversation about it. It's just like you said. I think I'm not sure if deformity is proper to respect somebody.
Well, deformity. What's the actual definition of deformity?
Well, deformity. Like I've got thumbs. Look
exactly.
I've got weird. That's a deformity.
It's not the average make.
Yeah,
model,
exactly.
Right.
There's something off.
Something's off. Yeah. So, but in no way am I saying it I'm not meaning to be offensive. If you're offended, I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, like, go fuck yourself.
In reality, you're actually giving them.
I just think
you're giving them a bigger, better reason within government to be like, yeah, like you should be a protected thing of people.
Yeah, because you're kind of like something. Well, I mean, like
we're not going to change it.
No, I'll say this though: as a government employee, if you're talking publicly, I don't think the government has any involvement. Why are we flying?
You don't think there should be protected classes of people?
I don't think it should matter who you fuck.
No, I'm saying protected class of people.
Like, I mean, I guess if someone came out and called you a faggot,
and shit.
Yeah.
I think those are important. Hate laws
absolutely. That's a hate crime. Just like someone come out and dropped a hard R. But at the end of the day, is why are we as a public, a government, talking about who we fuck?
Oh no, for sure, government has no room in the government.
So So the question would be: why are we flying a flag that represents a person's sexuality?
We're backwards.
See, it's so silly.
We're backwards
right?
on that.
I mean, because the truth is, it's not up to us to judge.
Well, because now you're bringing in people to say, well, it's not fair. I want a white pride flag up there.
But
and we all know that that's wrong.
We talked about this, I think, on the first episode. You can't know someone's sexuality unless they tell you.
Yeah, you're right.
So that being said, why are we bringing this up?
That's kind of how a lot of people see race, though.
You can see someone's race, kinda, right? Black, white.
Yes, you can, but
brown.
But do we have to bring it up?
There you go.
And
exactly.
do kids see race?
There you go.
Kids really don't.
Absolutely not. You go to a playground, right? So I mean, dude, again,
they may say they may bring up they may say it one day, why is that person black or why is that person white? Like if they've never talked about it with their parents, but they actually don't see race.
Yeah,
they just see another human being.
They do. But again,
anyways.
with sexuality though, like I said, this is not something that you can.
So it's even worse, yeah.
Exactly, because you have to search for it. You have to ask.
Well, I've got a pretty good gaydar, bro.
Dude, mine's been off this last.
No, don't say that.
It is, man. People,
gays are starting to evolve.
Yeah, that's
they're
what I'm
starting
saying.
to lose that lisp.
Yeah, it's like a white girl with a big booty, like They've all evolved. Yeah, there's an evolution.
White girls
going
have
on.
always had booties, dog.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
like
just shunned.
Darwin's fucking theory.
It was
out
just
there,
shunned
dude.
back in the day, dog.
Darwin's theory, dude. Like it's
We
just
call those wooties.
yeah, right.
At least that's what I search on the hub.
Speaking of,
I don't beat it to the hub, everybody. That's
dude, I just, you know what, I actually, well, obviously I did it in my last marriage, and I do it now, right? Like I just force myself for years, you know, and obviously like, cause it's like drinking, right? It's like, can you not drink, right? I mean, if you can't, if alcohol has a
taking
graphic,
care of it.
so if okay, so look at the, so what this is obviously no doctor again here, right? The definition of alcoholism or alcoholic, right, is like a person who cannot control themselves from being intoxicated that affects their outside social life, right? Outside themselves.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're not happy with yourself, you're gonna fix it. Normally, I mean, like, unless you're just on a roller coaster for death, but like if it affects, you know, your relationship with your mom, your dad, your friends, your work, right? That's alcoholic. But if you just have a drink, like if you just go to the bar and have a drink and you go home, or
Wait,
like do whatever,
definitionally, that's what it is?
I think definitionally, yeah. Like
no way, because there are tons of people that can like operate.
that's called a functioning alcoholic. So there's
Okay.
a functioning
Excuse me.
alcoholic, but usually more than likely, close friends, family, they know that person, he or she, is an alcoholic. 'Cause
So yeah,
obviously
they got the blush red face.
they're blush. They usually smell like alcohol, but they're functioning. Like they can complete their job, but you got to make sure
I knew
John
a
or
heroin
Joe.
addict like that one time.
See that's like a problem.
Heroin.
So the same thing with sex, right? Like I mean, if you
Did I
if,
tell you Jovan Pearson died?
yeah, I heard, yeah, this happened
sorry.
like a year. Dude, Dave Tracy.
Dave Tracy. What the
Tracy
fuck?
passed away. Yeah, I think last month. Yeah,
Holy shit. I'm sorry.
yeah, dang.
I don't mean to
dang,
break
dang.
that up. We're talking about addiction and alcoholism.
But
and
I think
drugs.
Dave wasn't related. I think he had like a gut issue or something. Some type of
Yeah, good. Clarify that. We
Because-
don't need somebody going,
yeah.
what the fuck, dude? Dave wasn't a heroin addict.
no.
No.
But
May have been.
was Jovan into that stuff?
All reports that I've gathered that are not, again, these aren't, all reports
Yeah, it's
signed
sad,
that
man.
way.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad thing, dude. I get it, man. You can go down a lot of roads. Shit, I was drinking.
I know, right? You told me.
Yeah, I was drinking and I just stopped. I was like, yeah, I know where this is going. You know, my dad allegedly. I don't ever recall seeing my dad drunk, or anything like that. I remember he used to drink non-alcoholic beer. I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude. I'm like thinking to myself, like, dude, like that's like some pussy shit, right? Like, but not a pussy. He just knows that he knows his will. So, but I mean, it's like one of those things where I think if that's that the things that go on in addiction, right? Like sex and stuff like that. Again, it throws you off the track, man. It makes you miss the mark. And so what I would do is like, I remember my ex used to say pornography's cheating, right? She would literally say that. She said it's physically cheating, right? Like physically. Like she agreed with that in her head, right?
That's a very common one, by the way.
I get it because what you're doing is you're directing energy outside of your loved, spouse, right? So
Unless you have in your brain
yeah,
the AI if you have deep fakes in your brain.
I think it's about you're on
It's
track.
kind of a
here.
joke,
No,
but it's
you're
kind of
on- you're on-
real.
you're on track.
Like if I could still fantasize about my wife
Absolutely.
watching porno.
No, you're
Because
on
I
track.
look,
It's a
but by
wire-
the way, I still look for the same builds.
it's a wiring issue. It's a wiring issue in your brain.
Sure.
So when you go to that, right,
Or it's a perfectly fine issue because men crave that. A woman can say that because she's not as sexually active
Yeah, exactly.
and very women aren't prone to, you know what I mean? And I'm not doing this motion for people that can't see my fucking arms extending. I'm not doing it to show a hard dick. I'm just saying they're not active at the levels men are. It is in our DNA to fucking fuck.
They aren't. Yeah, they're not. They don't get. They're not wired the way we are. They're not. Their process of being stimulated is different than ours.
Oh yeah, you got to swoon them bitches.
Yeah, some are a little bit more like men. Some are, but
I think that's where there's a miswire.
yeah, something's off or higher testosterone.
Somebody touched them.
That's possible. I mean, there's all types of stuff, And that's another thing too that's fucked up, man. Is like when you would talk about evil, like when you talk about these people with kids, right, and all the shit they do to kids, it's the ultimate paramount of evil. And that's another thing too. That I don't think Joe Biden and all this government nonsense that we dealt with the last 4 years understood what was going on with the border. They had to have known, because obviously it's a huge issue in other countries, human trafficking and so forth, and it's not something to be laughed about, and it's really demented. It's really because it's the ultimate slap to the face of God, because a child is so innocent by its very definition of being a child, and so to take that is like the ultimate like compounding evil. So when that happens so easily in this world, and like there's not people out there that understand the full dynamics to it, it's really fucked up for people to just continue to be blind to that until you have a kid, right? Obviously we're wired as men, as fathers, to protect. So it's really easy, if you're a good father. Obviously there's fucking dads out there that don't give a fuck, but they're not dads, right? They're just fucking worthless men,
sperm donors.
Yeah, exactly. But that being said, like, that's one of the inherent,
which blows my mind too. Imagine you have a kid and you're not in their life, like knowing what you know now about fatherhood. And
I don't want to go down that route, just because I got a lot of personal ties to that in my inner circle that I'm not happy about. But not me personally,
right. But people that just maybe
sad,
don't have
people that I love,
and you kind of like it's hard to separate. That's when the battle comes in. It's like, do I go full fucking Spartan and say, what the fuck's the matter with you? I can't associate with you anymore.
I can't do that, but I will say that I will never agree with a civil doctrine, like a document signing over rights.
It's horrible.
That's not a real thing. I don't believe that at all. There is no court that can keep a man from being a father.
Nope.
And there's no court that can keep a woman from being a mother. Yeah. You cannot. That's inherent. You don't get to take away those types of things. No one gets to take that away. You don't get to take that away. That's by God or whatever the fuck, right? So whatever you want to believe in, And I when I hear these people, I signed away my rights, so I don't have any rights.
Ooh.
That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. I refuse to believe civil doctrine over spirit and soul. Like
you should be connected to that kid. It does not matter.
It's like, get the fuck out of here.
It's like I think about it, like nothing's coming between
came up
me
with
and my
that
kid.
idea. That's
governments.
I want to know who's the person responsible for saying, well, you can just sign it away. Sign it away. And it's like, well, no, because you're a piece of shit right now. You're addicted to drugs and you got to make this fucking person better and give them to whatever. How about we just, they can sign over saying, hey, this person can live with this family, but I'm always going to be the father, or I'm always going to be the mother. There's nothing you can do to take that away.
It was the same time that it became legal for women to leave their spouses.
But then people will gaslight the situation by saying, well, that person raped that child, which is true. I say some crazy situation like that.
Okay.
Let's now, I hate what ifing the room, but anyways, if you do have that situation, for sure, I am no way ever gonna say no. That child belongs with their fucking pedophilia fucking father, or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, I can tell you right now, Johnny, Joe, whoever that was raped by their dad. However tragic that situation is, extremely tragic. There's the fucking devil himself. However, Johnny Joe Schmo still is going to have some inherent wind to know who his father is. It's just how we are, man. You don't come into this world, and because think about it. Let's think about it for a second. Johnny Joe Schmo raped by their dad is told, well, no, hey, your father did bad things to you, so you don't get to know who he is. Because you know what's going to happen to Johnny Joe Schmo, right? He's going to start thinking, who are you to tell me that? And say they're kind of off, because obviously being molested or whatever the hell can throw a child
Something
off.
happens.
Sometimes, usually, sometimes. Not all the time, because especially if it's
my
really
mom sought help, and she got help. She's very
absolutely.
Well
People, it's a tragic situation, but however, who is someone to dictate who someone's father or mother is?
Yeah.
Regardless of the situation. Now, protect the child. For sure. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That's not in that's not in this room. I'm talking about the biological fucking fact of mother and father. No human gets to dictate that. It's just like fucking no human gets to dictate you.
Well, that's
right?
That's the animalistic wildness of our life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're trying, and I get the I get the intentions. I
Yeah, but so
understand.
why would you fight against this people that want to make a society where rape isn't a thing? And what I mean is,
Yeah.
I'm not saying anyone's for rape,
Yeah.
but there is one part of the spectrum of
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
in this country
Yep.
where they're like, no, we wouldn't put up with rape.
Yep.
We don't want it in our society.
Yeah.
And there's another side that's like rape is bad, but they don't
Yeah.
really have any means to tell you how they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And another one's like, well, follow this.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Follow
man.
these words.
To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the best stories of our time to really go through that process to understand, like, say, rape, right? Because obviously, Tom Robinson, right, was accused of raping the farmer's daughter.
Right.
So, that's why we have the processes, right? So we can't do vigilante justice because Tom Robinson was innocent, but for the guilty Tom Robinsons, right? Like, what do you do to them? And it's just like, well, yeah, like vigilante justice or community justice will serve its own. Because truth is absolute, right? So it's gonna. I'm not saying just leave it up to like faith or fate, right? I'm saying that we want to be careful with accusations that are unfounded, but we also, again, it goes back to the same statement, right? Trust but verify, right? Trust but verify, you know. And yeah, man. I mean, it's something that we have to work on as a species, really, dude. Like, to just understand that we are in a world of so much information now that verifying the trust part isn't easy anymore, clearly, but verifying even isn't easy. We're in a world of flooded information,
but you can't verify because you can't trust.
Yeah, I mean,
so I can't just go off of what a statement is. I'm not again.
Exactly,
This
yeah.
isn't like if a woman says, "Hey, I drank last night," or no.
That's a good one.
No, I was raped. Okay, let's investigate.
Yeah.
So what's up? What
You
happened?
hear about these all the
Oh,
time.
we went to a bar. Were you drinking? Yes, I was drinking.
It's
Fuck.
tough.
Was he drinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was clearly throwing down nice, whatever. Okay, ma'am. Fuck. Both of you were intoxicated? Where do we go from there? Again, I love the idea of saying raise men not to rape. I didn't do it. I never had to have a speech about it other than, respect women. My son's never going to be like that.
Well, because it goes back to how you're raised. Man.
It is.
Yeah. It goes back to like
It is.
It goes back to having a foundation of moral values, right? I mean, no means no, right? So it's like there's people out here that are being taught that everything that they believe is real.
If a person's willing to rape, I think they're willing to kill too, by the way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you can make people believe that a boy is a girl and a girl is a boy, there's nothing else left. Where do you go?
That's crazy. You start to really think about it.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
I think we've been so engulfed around it.
Absolutely.
That if you don't actually stop and think about like what people think in this country.
Yeah. I mean, you're going down a rabbit hole of if you can believe that, like actually believe it, then what else? You're basically
I can't have a conversation with you.
Well, you're at the fucking will of anything now.
Because we can't even agree on
everything
simple
is trusted,
terms.
and you just don't verify. There's no verification process at all.
That's another thing brought to you in this episode. Negligence and trust, but verify.
Yeah, last one. I remember we talked about FOIAs. We talked a lot about like the processes of like police. Remember we brought up that with the seatbelt and the state trooper. That was a good one. That was good.
Yeah,
a lot of people talked about that. They're like, dude, like I never really thought of it like that. I'm like, yeah, well, you should think of it like that. Cause like just because a cop sees you see them, it's like now you're disrespecting their authority. It's like some Cartman fucking.
Yeah, he got pissed.
Yeah, it's like, well, wait a minute.
He
like,
came up to me and I was like, yeah, what do you want me to do? You want me to play good old boy to you and putting it on now?
Right.
Like I'm supposed to be your bitch.
Yeah,
now?
You're right. It's like so weird.
Let's just
right?
be honest. That is like what we were talking about. People breaking policy, seatbelt laws, whatever your opinion is, don't really matter.
Yeah, exactly.
In the scheme of things, that's like having a biker have a helmet.
Yeah.
If you get into a car accident where your helmet's going to need to be used, you're hurting anyways.
Yeah, dude, you're done.
Helmet or no helmet. I mean, I think a guy died in the city we grew up in, which, by the way, did you see that video of Dearborn Heights, the home invaders?
No.
Bro's in dead sleep, pulls out his 9mm, people invading his home and taking stuff, and they come to his room. He starts opening up on them, but they open up too. It's just exchange of bullets. It's like, damn, I grew up in that city. That place is fucking
That happened
falling
recently?
apart. Yeah, you'll have to see it. I'll show it to you.
No shit.
Yeah, right in Dearborn Heights,
Do you remember when
Brookside, something.
you remember over there by Billy Chafin's house? Was that Williams?
Okay.
Is that Williams Street?
Yeah, sounds right.
Um,
Near Annapolis.
someone broke into a dude's house. He was like, they thought he was gone, but he came back and that dude shot him in the head.
That's crazy.
I forget who
And
it
then
was.
remember the
He went
dude
to our
that
school.
killed his whole family in the basement in Dearborn
Okay.
Heights? He had the kids watch him kill the mom,
Jesus.
and then he killed them, and then he was insane. He was just you
Jesus.
could tell he was insane too.
Yeah, man, Dearborn Heights. Dude, I used to fucking stay out in that neighborhood till midnight every night. Like I was just.
It was a
all
pretty
over
safe
it.
place.
Bro. We were always out. I was.
It
doing
wasn't
like,
that bad.
dude. Halloween. Just like, dude, thinking back on our life, dude, like it was a good life.
It is weird because you look back at it and you go,
It's a
man, what a
nostalgic
cool little
life.
neighborhood.
It was a nostalgic life.
I remember going to the Dome's residence.
Yeah, dude.
And we would walk, and Paul Bertazio, shout out Paul, non-existent in this world because I don't think he has social media. Same thing with
Smart
Joe.
man.
What's with Joe Bennett?
Same
and all
thing,
What's up
yeah.
with these Bertazios and these Bennetts?
Must
that
be an
just-
Italian thing.
Yeah, probably. I thought they were Jewish.
Better than a militia or something.
They're probably that. No,
Hey,
Joe's
Paul,
not
can
in
I
the
join your
militia.
militia?
But shouts out to those guys because they don't have social media.
Yeah,
I'd love to
Bennett,
catch up with.
yeah.
But Paul hated me because Terry and Kyle loved me, and they're like, "This guy's really funny." But they're like, "He fell at 7-Eleven because I acted like I fell." I think you were even part of that. But we were all at the Dome's
I
residence.
remember you brought this up last time. I don't remember it.
It's fine. I bring.
I used to.
things that
No, I
used
didn't work
to-
at that 7-Eleven. I worked at the other 7-Eleven.
on Monroe.
Yeah, I know. I'm Pelham.
You did,
Yeah, Pelham.
and the
No,
owners
no, no.
there, they were always
She's
really
still
cool to
there,
me.
Kristen.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out
She
Kristen.
used to pinch me on the cheek when I was
Yeah,
Gavin's
she's the
age.
only Caucasian female owner of a 7-Eleven in the state of Michigan. I think.
Yeah, the rest
No,
are
the world
Indian.
probably the fucking world.
I know the guy that robbed the 7-Eleven. We should get him on here. He's the biggest liberal I know.
Really, but he robs stores.
Like he's one of those guys that like
Well,
is
that
on
makes sense.
Facebook who goes like, "Look who you voted for."
Oh, he like
you gotten those
he talks
lately?
shit, yeah. No, I mean, I think people do. To be honest with you, man, people are very like cool now. Like, well, I've always had a mixed variety of friends. Like, I've always
Yeah,
had,
me too.
Yeah, so like I've never.
You're a moderate
Yeah,
person.
yeah, but very moderate. Yeah, so
I mean, you
don't
came
really-
out telling Trump he's fucking stupid for saying what he said.
Yeah, but I still like had those like backings, you know, and I think people started figuring out, okay, you're just moderate. But it's just like, well, being black and white, and then growing up in the way I grew up,
Yeah.
black dude on the ice, didn't play basketball, law enforcement, in the federal law enforcement, military, all this other
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
like people like always assumed, a lot of assumptions, but then they're like, fuck, I can't read this guy. And I'm like, it's like almost one of those things where
That's
I
good. I
wasn't,
don't want you
I
to.
wasn't like a chameleon, but I kind of was, right? Like
What do you mean?
well, you have to.
You're an
like,
individual.
Yeah, well, I'm an individual myself, but I'm saying like when I'm out in the world and I don't know who the fuck you are, clearly I'm going to play into.
Bro, that ain't just you.
Yeah, that's called life.
That's anyone trying to survive.
Yeah, exactly. That's
There's a
game
lot of
chess.
white dudes that kind of slang up their words once they start getting around some
Yeah,
brothers.
you have to. Yeah.
well,
because
you're doing it
you
out
want-
of respect, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Too.
You're appropriating the culture,
yeah,
and
that's
not in
true.
a negative way.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, you're appropriating the culture to
Yeah.
kind of say, "I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
here."
exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
We're
called
chilling.
real. Like, I mean, obviously it is real, right? Like, I was in the cities of Detroit on the weekends. Illegal street racing was my dad, and shit. I remember those things. That was fucking crazy, dude. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, dude, I fucking have like, yeah, bro, fucking like black tar shit, like tires that were burning out.
Yeah.
And I'd always like used to love the smell of the turbo
rubber-
fuel.
Yeah.
Turbo
Oh,
fuel. Oh
yep,
my
yep,
god,
yep.
bro, it smells like bubble gum or something.
Okay.
And so I used to love sitting in the back by where the cars were doing that.
Bro, we're having a conversation here, Gavin. Come here.
Yeah.
Ask what you just
Yeah,
said.
hey, ask
No,
it.
ask it again.
You
This
think you
motherfucker.
want pizza?
I think he wants za, dude. He's
Yeah,
asking.
get some pizza.
My
bro.
bands is on a fucking. This guy's ripped, dude. He don't eat za.
Yeah, well, you have no idea.
Eats
wait
ass.
Wait till 6 p.m. Dog.
Oh yeah, you're fasting. I forgot.
Why? It's not that I fast every day.
He's slowing. He's gonna be slowing real soon.
Well, what I do is I always when I got deployed to the border, I didn't like the fact that I was fucking just like working all the time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get good food. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to not eat until 6 p.m.
Yeah, because when you're on those types of jobs,
Yeah,
what
it's
do you
tough.
got? Like a fucking vending machine
Bullshit.
or like some kind of
Well, I mean, I have
bullshit?
access to restaurants. I just didn't like
Yeah, but restaurants
interfering.
are fucked up too.
Yeah, it was just nice, man. And next, you know, I felt comfortable. I think I had some gastro stuff going on. You know, our fucking foods, man, are fucked up in this country. And
Yeah,
but
that's why
yeah,
they
dude,
want
yeah. When you
RFK,
fast though, you get rid of your inflammation, right? And so
Okay.
yeah, and you're allowing your gut time to do what it has to do, and then you replenish it, right? So it's like it's just a better way for me at least. Obviously, some people need calorie like excess calorie, like whatever. Like obviously, everyone's different. It just worked out for me. I don't do it every day now. I was doing it too much, and then I was going to the gym. I was really kind of draining myself, and I was fine, but I just wasn't getting good workouts in
No.
for energy purposes. So I started changing some of my dietary like intake time. So what I'll do is like sometimes I'll go till 6 p.m. and then sometimes I'll go till noon. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it all depends. You just gotta listen to your body, man. Gotta listen to the car. Gotta listen to the engine.
Dreamweaver. That's why I sing when I don't even give a fuck.
Shut the fuck up, Jay.
No. It's cool. He's this guy's a specimen, and then there's me. He's just overweight and probably gonna die of like some
Anybody
sort
can
of heart
change. It's all
disease.
mindset, dude.
It is, yeah. 21 days. What do they say? All you need is 21
Yeah.
days.
It's not. I'm not.
I just
I'm not,
need to cut the sodies out, bro. I'm telling you.
sodies.
Yeah, because I actually naturally
got a lot
fast
of
too.
do you like you got a lot of microwave food?
What do you mean?
Food you put in the microwave?
Like leftovers, yeah.
No, I'm saying like, do you have microwave food? Like
No,
I
don't.
you're
Like,
good. Then.
you're talking like a
Like
like
stove first
processed
bullshit.
shit.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, my wife's like pretty good. Like we had steaks and potatoes, but
That's
we didn't
good,
get like
dude.
boxed potatoes. It was an actual baked potato
Good. Yeah.
and a
yeah.
steak, a little bit of
So
butter.
where are
maybe I
you
should
getting your
use the butter.
sodies at? Where are you getting sodium at?
So the sodas, that's gonna be like when I get home from work, or like I'll have an energy drink before I go into work.
Yeah,
Like
energy
sugars.
drinks. Oh, but is it sugar energy drink or is it sugar free?
Yeah. No, if it was sugar free, I'd probably feel a little more comfortable. But I,
You need to do that, dude. Don't do the fake. Yeah, that's the sugars that are in the energy drinks are not good. For you.
Yeah.
Like they're too processed.
so you think going sugar free is still okay?
It's gonna be better than going sugars
Got it.
because sugars are processed in those, and everything's processed. But
Yeah.
your sugar process is like
The problem is I'm active from 5 a.m. to about noon, and then I come home.
Yeah,
and
you're
I'm
an
not.
early riser because I've seen
I
you read
love
my
it.
messages. Yeah, I
love it,
I
dude.
like that. I mean, I don't like. I mean, I think I'm like a night owl naturally, but
Really?
yeah, but I do get up early, obviously for work. But I'm just saying,
going dog.
yeah,
Your
dude.
knobs.
Well, if you exercise in the first thing in the morning, you will naturally get up like at that time every day. That's like proven.
I've
by some-
I've just got a body clock. Even on the weekends, I could go to bed at like 2 a.m. I'm waking up at around 5,
Wow.
and I'm not tired. But I also probably have sleep apnea. I'm probably gonna die one night in the middle of my
Are you?
sleep.
Does your girl say you have
Yeah,
sleep?
yeah.
That's
She
not-
tells me
you
like
need-
I
you need-
stop breathing.
You need to stop that right now.
I
I'm
don't
being
know.
dead serious.
I know, dude,
bro.
but it's like
No, there's no. I know. I'm being serious. You do not want to die that way.
no, I don't. That'd be horrible, especially because my kid likes to come upstairs and sleep with us sometimes.
No, I'm
Can you
telling
imagine
you.
waking up to me that way?
But well, you know why? You know why you will eventually perish, right? It's not so much the fact that you're not sleeping; it's the adrenaline. You're shooting adrenaline to your body constantly when your body goes in that state.
Really?
It's the adrenaline that causes
Your body produces adrenaline to wake you up or something?
Absolutely, it's just like
So
that.
that's why I wake up and I'm like,
Yeah, it's adrenaline. So what? You're stop breathing, right? So if I came over there and smothered you right now, naturally your body's going to shoot a little adrenaline to get you to breathe more.
right.
Yeah, so you need to not do that.
That's why you hear that, like
That's
death roar,
not good, man.
rattle.
You need. I'm telling you, Kev. Like seriously, that's not good.
Yeah, I got to figure that out. I don't know how to set up an appointment because my wife goes, well, I don't have a primary care, which is funny because I have insurance.
If you got to be serious about it, and if you're serious
Oh,
about
I
it, I
am.
can get you on a nice program for diet, and also you need
I
to
need the CPAP too. I got to
you
survive.
need to lose some weight.
Of course.
Once you lose weight, it's water, right? It's not weight, it's water. You're gonna lose water, and then once it's weight, whatever.
Yeah, I'm clearly
trying
big.
to make it easier on the mind here.
I don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah, no, dude, it is
You
what it
can't
is.
tell a guy that already knows.
Well, I can tell you right now, the first thing you do. Let me ask you this:
What
Are
I
you-
mean is, like, you can't sugarcoat what I already fucking know about myself.
when you wake up, are you drinking water first?
Very first thing I do. Well, actually, it's not the very first thing I do, but it's the first thing that enters my body.
Okay, how much?
2 bottles, like
Good.
whatever the plastic bottles are,
Yeah, good.
one or
good.
two, and it
A lot of
just
people
goes
fuck
through
that
my
up. A lot of
system.
people think you just get up. I'm gonna have a coffee. You know, I'm gonna
Nah.
yeah. So many people do that, and it's like really bad for you, like because you're putting in a restrictive fucking mechanism in your capillaries. You know, I almost sneezed.
No, it's water, straight water.
Good. Yeah, water's
It's
good.
water good enough that like within an hour I have to piss.
Okay. And another thing too is if you want, the first thing I would tell you to do for the next like 4 weeks, right?
Let's
and I
hear
really
it.
want you to be serious.
Let's hear
with it. I want you to drink 16 ounces of water when you wake up. Okay.
So
And
how
then-
many bottles of water is that then?
Well,
Two
you gotta-
bottles?
Well, a bottle should be 16, right?
Bro, I smash water in the morning.
So drink water. I mean, I recommend just get enough to lube up your shit.
Yeah.
Right. And
Good.
then I want you to take apple cider vinegar. I want you to
Okay.
take like a
shot?
like a half, like a full shot of that. But you're gonna put it in a glass, and then you're
Okay.
gonna put like a little bit of
Lemon.
no, you're gonna put Himalayan salt. You're gonna put about a tablespoon of Himalayan
So that's
salt.
to
in
keep me hydrated.
teaspoon, not tablespoon. Start off with a teaspoon.
Okay.
Right? Then a little bit of water in that. Take a shot of that. All right.
Okay.
What that's going to do is that's going to give you a little bit of energy throughout the day. That's
Got
going
it.
to start
So that's
you
my
out.
energy drink.
That's kind of like your energy drink. Drink water throughout the day. Tell you if you're feeling a little tired, you need a little hitter.
Eat it.
I'm not going to tell you to not throw out your energy drink consumption, but I will tell you do a sugar free.
I'm not addicted to energy drinks.
Oh, okay. If you don't need it, then drink more water.
Yeah, there's times where I go without it because I'm
I can tell
financially.
you.
I know.
I can tell you that me personally, I'm addicted to energy drinks. Like I like the taste because I'm
Yeah,
fasting.
these are nice.
Yeah, those are good.
Somebody told me that these are of all the energy drinks, this is
Mm-hmm.
pretty good on par for.
Yeah, Celsius are great. And the thing is that you want to just keep yourself hydrated.
Yeah.
Because it's not that you're tired, it's that you're usually dehydrated. And you're a bigger guy. You're
Oh,
not
yeah.
you're not low in weight. So that being said, you need a little bit more water.
Yeah.
Right? And that's gonna help you throughout the day, staying metabolic. You're gonna keep yourself in a good state.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, you can cut a lot of weight just by these little tiny tricks right here.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're gonna
Because
start
I
feeling
I actually don't feast that much once I go to eat.
better. Yeah. Are you sleeping on your back?
I sleep on my stomach.
Oh, holy fuck. You sleep on your stomach?
Yeah. I do it because I've actually learned that I don't snore as bad that way
Really?
because I think it frees up all my airways.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, I'm not a sleep expert. I just know that there's certain ways. I know that the back is kind of like generically like a safer place, but
it is.
yeah,
It is. I know when I was younger, I used to always be able to sleep on my like a vampire, bro.
Yeah,
But that was when I was a lot lighter.
yeah. How's the
You know,
neck?
my neck.
Yeah,
It's just huge, dude. It's huge. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't even you don't really feel it. It's
Mhm.
weird. It's like girth.
yeah. Well, you're a big guy. You're
I
not
think
small.
naturally I'm a.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
But so even if I was
Yeah,
losing
your
weight, I'd
dad. I
still
remember
be
your dad. I remember, like,
just
they, like,
kind of
yeah,
what do we
thicker
call
joints.
stocky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Like
and that's not
wrestler
like big
build.
bone.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a real term of like
Yeah.
you go look at my son, his shoulders. The way
Yeah,
he's
bro.
got.
Yeah, he's meaty. Yeah, he's meaty.
So it's just like it's genetics, but no, I need to do something. But you know, at the same time, it's like you have to go get a physical, and that I'm kind of scared about.
Don't be scared, man. You gotta get the
Yeah,
facts.
but people, man, they could drop negative news on you, like you're gonna die tomorrow, and it's like,
Nah,
no, I'm
don't
not.
listen to that shit.
But I have a decent routine, and I think one of the big things I have on my side, I don't smoke regularly, I don't drink regularly,
Yeah,
and I go to bed and wake up at the same time all
Yeah.
the time.
yeah.
So I have even though I don't get the best of
How's
sleep,
how's your stress?
very low,
Good.
very low. The
Well,
only
you're
things-
like you kind of process. You've always been a funny. Like I think funnier people are good at processing things in their head, and you know what I mean. So like you don't necessarily have. You can kind
yes
of like
and
laugh
no.
at things.
I agree with that to an extent. I
Well,
got a
other
brother
than,
who's
other
a
than
fucking
Robin Williams.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you got some people that
Off
just
himself.
like the world's gonna end for them, but they have something wrong with their brain. That's chemical. But I've been helping my father, which is really weird, man. I don't know how much you talk to your father if he's around or whatever, but
Occasionally,
it's weird when you become a teacher to your father sometimes.
yeah.
Because in a perfect world, they're supposed to be the teacher to you, but when you have to like emotionally fix your dad because they're fucked up in a way that
I think it's natural though, man. It's
it is,
natural.
but
It's natural.
it gets to the point where he calls me brother. Thanks, brother. And it's like, fuck, you're my dad, dude.
it's
You
okay.
shouldn't be calling me brother.
It's okay.
No, it's okay. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
It's what's behind it. It's that my dad doesn't even have his own fucking people
yeah,
to help him. I mean, I'm his people.
yeah.
I'm his people.
Well, he's got somebody. He's got a brother.
I
It's a song.
guess. I mean,
I understand the words you're saying.
It's
but,
like you know, you don't ever want to have to go and fix your dad. But
No,
he
for
had
sure.
brothers because of the life they lived
Yeah.
who were addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
And he goes, I thank God I was never addicted to drugs. I said, Dad, you got something else though.
Yeah.
You weren't addicted to something,
Yeah.
but you had a fucked up emotional
Yeah.
thing that you can say is as harmful as somebody with an addiction. See, that's
Yeah,
the thing we
yeah.
don't talk about in our society.
No, absolutely.
People
not.
that have problems that are mental or emotional,
Yeah.
and they stem from the issues, but because we don't physically see them all the time,
Yeah.
meaning we don't see their issues on display,
Yeah.
that everything's all right.
But what
nah,
you're-
man, they're fucked.
But if I may, because I went through the same thing with my mother, is that this is a generational issue.
Sure.
My mom was born in 52, so
Okay.
this is a generational issue. So what you're seeing is like a process that was not processed
Got
when he
it.
was at our age, when we were young as their
Yeah.
children. So
There's more
when-
help today for
so-
people.
So you should actually be proud of that, right? You should be happy. Well, not should be happy, right? It's life, man. Like there's a cultural effects happen every day, and if you approach it in a way that try not to understand it to way you think you're just gonna understand it,
Yeah.
just be there for them
Yeah.
and be there with them.
Yeah.
And if he wants to call you brother, you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
you're
get
gonna,
it. I know
you're
what
gonna,
you mean.
You're gonna feel better about yourself because I went the same thing, man. I feel what you're going through right there. My dad wasn't really around the way that I would have been as a father. Obviously,
Right.
I can't tell you. I can tell you what I would have liked because obviously I'm entitled to that opinion.
Of course.
But obviously, a weekend father is a weekend father. A father is a father, right?
I think in your opinion, you're probably looking at like, bro, that should be something honored, not something that you look at as negative.
But again, it's a
Because but that's also your perspective from the standpoint of, oh, I kind of wish my dad would fucking entrusted me to be the person that they would come to figure that shit out.
Well, it's kind of like some people call it a generational curse. I just call it a generational like a skip. So it's like, there'll be a lot of people that say, well, you can break generational curses, which you absolutely can because obviously you have the choice.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
your choices, regardless of like. It's that saying that
God damn, that's true.
someone can't make you angry, right? You choose to be angry, right? So it's the
Right,
same thing. Like
right.
you can choose to continue what you've been taught, right? So like I used to look at. So unfortunately, the truth is with my father, everything that he did, I did the opposite of, in my roles for myself, my guidelines as a father, and obviously I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Of course.
Being there, right, is number one.
Yeah.
So if you're not, if you can't not make your kids comfortable, because kids aren't going to be comfortable naturally with some uncomfortable things with speaking with their father or their mother, but just getting them to talk. My
Yeah.
dad was like the type that would maybe like rub your head randomly, but then go right back to start, doing his thing.
Right.
I try to engage my kids constantly because I knew what that felt like when I was like getting my head rubbed, and then like I felt like I opened up something for him to talk, and then he
Yeah.
would just go back to turning up the radio.
Right.
Or something like that. So I try to keep constant communication with my kids, regardless of what it's about. Right. So these are important things.
The smaller things are better.
The biggest things.
and bigger, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
small-
how
yeah.
was your fucking day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're gonna
Tiny
remember
things.
Dad always gave a
Yep,
fuck.
always. Yep,
And it's not gonna
always.
be like there's gonna be a moment where they're sitting out camping or doing whatever. You're gonna come up
Yeah,
in their
absolutely.
conversations, and they're gonna make fun of you because there's
Yep.
shit that you do that's just
Yep.
funny.
Yep.
But then they're gonna be like, yeah, but that motherfucker always gave a fuck.
Yep, exactly. Then,
You know?
and that's why it's important to understand that your children are going to be the only human being that you can develop such a relationship with in
Right.
this world. There's no other
Right.
person you can develop.
That's
a
why it's so
relationship.
special.
That's why it's the most. It's their words can't describe it. It's indescribable.
It's the highest of our humanity, of what we are right now. And
It's
I'm
what
not,
keeps this going.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it is. It's what keeps this going.
God.
There's nothing that can actually.
That's the best way to say it.
It's what keeps us going. And so, like when your dad does those things, just keep that in mind, man. Like, I mean, I think it's good. It's called wisdom, right? Like we're getting.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna be our dads, right? Like we're gonna be at our not our dads, but I'm just saying, like we're gonna be at their age. We're not perfect. We're gonna
Right.
have our mistakes,
Right.
Gavin's gonna say similar things.
He's gonna hear
about-
something
yep,
from me, and he's gonna be, Dad, I know how to fix
It's
that.
okay, right?
Yeah.
So the more that we realize that it's okay to just continue to talk about this, process it, Get it out there. Try to do the best every day, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine, brother. Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so
GGs.
so when you're going through those things, that's why I call it beautiful. All right, that's a beautiful thing that your dad's doing that. Because he
trusts.
he could as easily not do that. My mom easily have not opened up the way that we do. I've always been open with my mom. My mom and I have had the longest conversation. I've always everyone called me jibber jab. Every my mom's side, my dad's side,
A lot of jibber jab.
yeah, jibber jab, man. I was like talking all the time. I'd be at the grocery store just talking. And so it's like when I, am doing these things, and I always think to myself, sometimes obviously it's a form of not accepting who you are. I'm like, maybe I'm talking too much. No, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, dude, I've embraced it. I'm like, dude, this is who I am,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like, you like it? Stay with it. You don't like it? Go fuck off. Unsubscribe. I don't give a shit. Like,
And
do
the
whatever you
only
want,
thing
know?
you can't do is be offended when someone goes, hey, let me cut you off.
Yeah.
Or, hey, hold up. Because if you are well aware of you as a person and you're impacting an environment, then you just got to be like, oh, I know I talk a lot.
I'm talking too much.
You got to fucking interrupt me.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be like, hey, man,
Yeah.
check this out. Now, don't be a fucking dick about it.
Yeah,
Don't
for sure.
fucking remind me that
Yeah.
I should.
Well, I always make sure too. I remember I just recently started talking. Well, not recently. Like last like 3-4 years when I always talk to my friends like, hey, do you think I cut you off a lot? And a lot of them would say like yes. A lot of them say no. And I'm like, okay. I was like, hey, if I ever do that, they just like tell me to shut the fuck up, you know. But what I do now is
It's
I actively,
offensive.
I actively just try not to talk as much.
Yeah, but if people, this is the problem with passive people. You're actually like creating a huge rift now if you don't engage me in a specific way. But see, that's not that those people are kind of weak in social environments because they don't know how to interact with people.
It's true.
And it's not a bad term when I say weak. I just mean they're weak in the sense that like they don't have all the abilities to in a social environment to be like this is a problem for me. Or not even a problem. Let's just say, hey, you're talking a fucking lot.
Well, I think that's another thing too. We as a society has failed. That we've failed to understand the mechanisms to communicate.
Yeah, there's cues.
Yeah, and effectively communicate, not just communicate. Right?
Yeah, good call. Effectively,
Yeah,
is important.
effectively communicate.
Huge.
So
Yeah.
like you receive what I'm saying, you provide proper feedback,
Right.
and then I or you engage.
What's the claims?
engage.
No one's actively listening. They're actively trying
Waiting
to respond.
waiting for their chance to talk. And yeah, that's important too. And it's hard. I get it, man. Like society's a motherfucker, man. It's the every day, the outside world is a motherfucker, right? Like you're going out there, you have to strap on a vest, you have to have your secondary, you have to have a long gun, you have to have your sword, you have to have an umbrella, it's like it's a lot, man. Like the world's a monstrous, savage place.
Yeah, but see, the more that you understand that, the more you're going to do better in those situations.
Well, you
So,
want
for
to be a
instance,
warrior in the garden.
You do,
Yep.
you do, and what, essentially what that means is if in a social environment, other people that are fucking immature, or they're still childlike in their social skills, you just have to be able to tiptoe around them. You just have to be able to communicate in their way, and that right there, that you're going to be able to be a leader because you can take yourself and put yourself into a situation. For instance, there are people that have those skills, but they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So that's when they're actively becoming an asshole, as opposed to if someone's not on the same level as you, as far as thought, processing, listening, all that, you just got to get to their level. And that doesn't mean they're an idiot. That doesn't mean you're better than them. That just means you've processed more in social environments and you've been around more diversity of thought and conversations and stuff like that to engage with those people. The problem is you do have assholes. Look at me. I'm better than you because I can, within these scenarios, engage with you or above you and make you feel small. Like what I mean is you should be able to read people and understand them.
Yeah, well, I don't think you should over engage or like if I were to use like an SRT analogy, like I don't think you should stand at the door and what's inside of that room. Because if you do that, you'll never open up the door.
How does that apply to people?
So like in a communication, right? Like if you just say hi or whatever, right? Like if you're engaging in a conversation, you should not be what ifing what the next thing that they're going to say.
Yeah, but that's having like a that's almost like you have a predisposed opinion about them.
I don't think, but I think it's good to actively understand that you should not be doing that. Like, I think
Of
it's
course.
okay, like when you're having those conversations, and
Be
it's
open to the possibilities.
yes, because you'll never open up those doors. You're just constantly going to just second, third, fourth guess everything. Like, well, what if this? What if that? What if what if? Managers are bad at that, right? In
Yeah, of
organizations, bad managers are always the ones who just say what if, and then when it doesn't go the what if, they put it off on their employees that that's their mistake.
It's horrible.
That's an awful way to manage. It happens
Sure
all the
is.
time in our
It
organization.
does.
Yeah, because
But how do those people get into those positions? They're just phonies.
I think it's just a matter of again, like being liked or not even liked, but I think one
Some of it is liked. Yeah.
yeah, some of it's liked, obviously.
More people you know.
Others, it's just hard to get out of that position once you put them in it. At
good
least in
call.
the government, like I know Trump's trying to make it easier to fire government employees. I think that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same breath. I think that there's some government employees that definitely need to go, but there's also going to be like weird stuff that happens in the termination process.
Yeah, but he's specifically looking for people that don't really need to be there.
They're
They're trying to downsize government,
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a
Which is
Reagan.
fair.
It's a Reagan philosophy,
which is
yeah.
fair. I don't think that's. I think he's also. I think you're looking at it from like a perspective of like what does that mean for anyone that like maybe like you said maybe outspoken or like can that end up fucking me? At the end of the day, I don't think it would. Because you're an asset to the government. You're not one of these people that, as a paper pusher and potential ass clown, deep stater, in my opinion, towards his administration.
Yeah.
If anything, you would be an asset to his policies.
Yeah.
Because you're in a position. You're not in a position. I mean, not saying that applies to you. I'm just saying that it's like these people that work from home and they work desk jobs. I don't know what they're doing. The statistics are crazy when they find out, like, that Kash Patel guy that wants to become the director of the FBI. They're so mad at him because he went on Sean Ryan's show and said, I would love to, if I ever became the director of the FBI, shut down the FBI main headquarters and turn it into a museum of the deep state and then redo somewhere else and send everybody out of the offices and onto the streets to go fight crime. Instead, he's like, we have one whole floor dedicated to like one small minor thing in our country. And it's like, now we've expanded the government to such means, it's ridiculous. So I don't think like people getting rid of or making it easier to get rid of people in the government is necessarily a bad thing. I think those people, the writing's on the wall for them and they've known that. They're just waiting for the right president to come in.
Yeah.
I don't think that applies to you, but I don't know if that's what you're saying. I don't know if that's why your position is the way it is, meaning you're like, hey, that's good or bad.
Well, I just know that, like, I can speak from my experience. The shitty employee usually works themselves out of government.
Yeah,
Like,
good call. I see what you're saying.
I understand where Trump's analogy is with doing the Reagan philosophy of just smaller government. So smaller government means you just have to cut. So you start cutting employees. I think that's kind of shitty when I know what cuts mean, because cuts mean that you're gonna take a percentage of cutting your good employees. But that's kind of the name of the game, right? They call that it's a sacrifice. I mean, it's just like you're the lamb, right? So unfortunately, those things have to happen. I know that the government does take care of its people, though. I've never seen a government employee just get fucked, right? Like by say a Google employee.
Yeah.
Like I just know that the government, if they're going to cut you, they're going to give you a nice severance package.
Severance,
like,
they already said I'll pay you for 8 months if you have to.
like, there's a lot of incentives. Like we
Figure
don't
it
just
out.
get terminated. Like I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of like, hey, you're not going to terminate you, but you have these 3 options and positions. You need to select one. Yeah. Like, cause that's what it's going down to. That's what cuts mean too, right? So like say they cut like 20% of ICE employees. They're not just going to terminate. They're going to say, hey, you guys need to go somewhere else. And then they're going to start taking these resignations. They're not going to replace the resignations. There's resignation that happens constantly. See, people don't understand.
Yeah, but I
It's
think
like
you're
birth
more.
rates.
I think you're more part of like the meat. You're not the fat.
That's true too. So
You're part of the meat. The things
that's
he's
true.
looking to cut
it's
are
like bullshit. Like,
why the fuck do we? And I don't even want to talk about DEI anymore. I'm so sick of that fucking hearing about it because in some respects it's like it's not the biggest thing in the world. Furthermore, but there is a lot of government like. Why the fuck are government agencies so big now that just don't need to be so big?
Yeah, that's true.
Like how big is the department?
Yeah, IRS.
And then there's multiple departments that could one could handle
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And you don't just make a floor for that.
Yeah,
and The
So
IRS is crazy.
Yeah. He's gonna do good work, man. I pray for him.
think
I
so.
pray for our country. I honestly think that we're moving in the right direction. I know it seems aggressive right now, but I can tell you under the other administration, I tell people that have said, "Oh, the Trump's being aggressive though because X, Y, and Z." I can tell you that Biden did the same thing. It was even more aggressive. He literally just said, "Stop doing your job for 100
But
days."
it also, the media
So-
didn't want to promote it the way they're doing this.
So I think we should all breathe. I think we should just kind of enjoy what we have here. Look out for each other. Look out for your neighbor.
And until he does something illegal, what are you going to do?
There you go. And we're gonna move forward as a country no matter what. No one can stop time. Elon Musk hasn't created that machine yet. So once that does happen, then we're all fucked. You know.
It's the fucking...
Yeah, dude. Musk didn't make the fucking machine yet. We're not in Interstellar yet, which is an amazing movie, by the way.
sad because it's, talk about fatherhood and being brave for the rest of society and then end up fucking yourself.
You never know, man. That little guy out there could be one of the creators of the time machines. Like, the sky's the limit.
I do
Possibilities.
know he's not going to be no.
You know,
Those kids are
You're gonna call
gifted
it?
at a young age, dude. My son is going to be the average man, but you know what? The average man is what makes this world go round.
That's true. It's true.
That's the problem. We want to raise our kids to be the
No,
most
I know.
special beings
No,
in the
for
world.
sure.
Guess what, dude? You're going to be average and you're going to like it because guess what? I'm an average man. I still love my
There's
life.
nothing wrong with that.
I still love my life.
Absolutely. Well, I will say this though: you never know.
I'm definitely not putting
Never
it
know.
against them. But guess what?
Never
The
know.
odds are right
yeah,
now,
for sure. Yeah.
this is you're going to be an average man. But you know what? Average men also take care of business. And
Absolutely.
they're honorable
Absolutely.
and they have dignity.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I will say, keep the happiness instilled in that soul, because that's what you want. Like you want as a
Yeah,
father.
good call.
Yeah, I always tell him, like, dude, you could be the president. You could be fucking. You could go.
Oh,
to
you could
fucking-
do whatever you want.
You could create another. Who knows? Maybe there's another universe. Like,
Yeah.
like there's sky. Your mind, the brain, dude,
Yeah.
is fucking remarkable. And so I think it's very naive for us to be focusing as just a father to protect. Like I tell my kids, they love it. I love it. I love like telling. I
Right.
wake up telling them like even my son's been in hockey, right? And I tell him like, dude, like Jerome McGinley is one of my favorite hockey players growing up, right? He was black,
Yeah.
and
Really?
yeah,
Guy named Jerome.
Jerome McGinley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the cover. Well, he
I
was on
fucking
cover.
know who he is.
Yeah, he got well, yeah, he got picked up
Jerome
with Dallas,
McGinley
right?
is.
Well, he never got a cup, right? He never got a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And what does that mean to me? He's still one of the best hockey players, greatest hockey players in the world.
Oh, he's really good.
And it means the standards that you're held from cultural norms or society, at the end of the day, they mean nothing, right?
Nothing.
You have to push, like, the possibilities are endless.
Actually, if you actually take out all that information, you'll succeed because you're not worried about fixated on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna
don't give-
naturally succeed.
Don't give them umbrellas. Yeah. Don't give them umbrellas.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
fucking let
I mean, some things can be discussed.
for sure. Well,
Like as a man,
Yeah.
and like you're not going to tell your son the same thing you're going to tell your daughter.
that's
You know what I mean?
well,
no, there are some things that are
I
going to
have
be
a
different
daughter-
than your daughter.
Well,
How to
okay.
take care of herself in
Yes,
situations.
That's huge.
A boy, you don't have to put too
That's
much.
true.
But really, what you tell the boy is respect people.
Yeah. Yeah.
A woman, respect yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't have a daughter, but I
You
would,
don't even have that,
I would
yeah.
love to have a daughter.
That
to
was
be
very
honest.
That I'm going through that right now. Yeah, mine's 11.
Gotta respect yourself. Gotta love
Mine's
yourself.
11. Yeah.
Because you know what? That's when the ones that don't love and respect themselves go down some shitty paths.
Well, what I do make sure I do tell my daughter, and I've just done this just as a practice, is
Yeah.
I tell her she's beautiful every day.
Yeah.
Every time I communicate with her, I say, "You're beautiful. You're this. You're that." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I try to put those things, and
Yeah.
obviously I'm being 100% raw
Well,
and
the
real.
biggest thing is, especially in today's generation,
Yeah.
is this what you
Yeah.
just said. They don't have that confidence in
No,
themselves.
they
So we're not talking 1940s. Women weren't thinking like that. There's
Yeah.
a difference. But in today's day and age,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not,
Yeah.
she's going to get involved in social media.
Absolutely.
And what do they say is the
already
biggest
are, yeah.
killer of,
Yeah.
of young women? Social media and their
Yep.
image.
Yep.
And,
Image. Yeah. Keeping up with the Joneses.
and look, you can't get her away from being
no,
part of that
You're
kind of
stupid
stuff.
if you
You
think
just
you're
have to
gonna put her in a
build
bubble.
her up that armor.
Yeah, you're if you put anyone in a bubble, man, they're gonna naturally want to get out.
Yep. So,
Well, dude, it's been awesome, man.
yeah, all out there. You had some
Yeah.
moments where I'm like, man, there he goes. He's just getting that one last push of it out.
Yeah,
It was like a
it's-
fat turd coming out of his ass. He was like, "Ugh."
yeah.
Not
It's-
to,
it's
I mean,
done,
I have
though.
to bring logic. I have to bring humor to this because this is what I do. But it was like you had some things you had to get off your chest, and like,
It's
hey.
good. It felt good, man. It felt good. I'm glad that it's all over. As for the Mixed to Moderate Patriot podcast, I might continue it. I'm gonna try to set something up at my house.
Yeah, do it.
If I do, well, I will do it. I got a lot.
You
of
let
shit
me know.
going.
Do you have
Yeah,
like smaller versions
I need
of
to
this?
find out what I need to get,
and then I could just tell you what you need. And you'd
okay,
be
cool.
set.
Yeah, I got like a little side office spot that I can put something like this.
And maybe
And,
you just do check-ins.
Yeah.
Say what
yeah.
up.
If you need stuff on your stuff, are you doing anything? Are you doing a podcast?
Oh,
Okay.
dude, no, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
Oh.
I've got ideas, but I got to have somebody that's dedicated. I can do it myself, but it's really hard to talk by yourself. You
Yeah.
have to. You're an individual that could talk by himself.
Yeah.
I use other people to bounce off of.
You're good on news though.
Yeah, new stuff. I'm always in.
What is your interest?
everything? But mostly commentary on the news.
What's your family stance on like everything that's going on in the world? Like you and your
Family
wife.
stance.
Yeah.
We're pretty much aligned.
Are
Same.
you like conservative?
I'm a conservative.
Yeah.
I'm more conservative. I'm left. I'm right of center.
There you go.
I'm not like full blown.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty liberal.
What about
guy.
her?
She's a traditional woman in the sense that like it's not. She doesn't follow all of it. She feeds off of what I give her, but I don't tell her that this is the God's word. I just tell her go search it yourself. So she'll tell me, "Hey, I seen on TikTok that like Trump's banning everyone's funds and freezing up everything, and he's fucking everybody." So well, that's not true. She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, let's research it.
Yes.
Let's go do the research. We
Verify.
find out it's not true.
Verify.
So we trust and then verify."
That's cool.
But like we're a conservative family. We're not like religious. We're not a religious conservative family. We're traditional family. We're the traditional man woman. I mean, we both work, but if she had it her way, she would stay home, raise our son, and take care of the family. She would manage the family, which is a job
Absolutely.
in itself. If you have that,
Yeah,
but-
it takes a community, man. It takes a village.
but see, that's the thing too. Is like it's I don't know. It's what we think. Why'd you bring that up?
I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, we're just
Yeah, I'm over all my humps and stuff, and obviously, like I've been seeing somebody, and I'm living by myself, and then I get my kids. Obviously, I get them, 40, percent of the time, basically.
yeah.
I coach my kids' team, so that's fun, and
Hockey.
yep,
Yeah.
that's been fun. And then I just been trying to see what's next. Teaching, I'm thinking, and then obviously everyone's telling me, "Oh, you should run for Congress." And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to go down that route. I'd be going against Debbie Dingle, and it's like you're going against a bloodline.
Yeah, but
She's not Wayne County, I can tell you that.
I mean, what did Martin Luther King say? Like, good men to sit around and do nothing. I mean, Debbie Dingle isn't perfect. She's a career politician.
Career politician. I don't know if that's what Detroit and Dearborn Heights needs. I think Dearborn.
Sorry, just
we're
touch
playing
feet. That's
footsies,
kinda-
yeah.
that made
That's
me
kind of
weird.
cool though. Yeah. Anyways, like Van Buren Township is Wayne County. Wayne County, right? So
You can always start small.
whatever district, or actually not Detroit. She represents Dearborn or whatever. That's who I'd be going against. I think she's in Van Buren too. I think it's 13 district. I don't even know
Southeast
what district.
Michigan, a majority of it, I imagine.
Regardless, I know that the people, when I say the people, I'm talking about the public, talking to whoever's listening to this. If you do need something different than Debbie Dingle, always feel free to reach out to me. I have a lot of people that talk to me about Debbie Dingle. I've spoken to Debbie Dingle's office in regards to some situations that I went through. I can tell you that she's exactly what you just said. She's a career politician. We don't need career politicians in the office.
Nope.
We need people that are here.
They're here to serve the
field.
government.
Yeah, we need
Serve
people
for the people.
We do need people that are in the field, in these houses, in these homes, in the businesses, local. We need people on the road. We need people that have done the work. So I'm not advocating for myself. I'm advocating for something like that. But obviously, I would never put anything out of realm of things, right?
You'd have to get with somebody that knows how to put you in that position.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. They'd have to essentially teach you like
And that's sad too, right? That's sad. Like I think you should be able to fucking just put your name out there and fucking run.
yes
you know?
and yes and no. Like I
Yeah,
get it. Like
yeah.
I understand. You don't want some schmuck getting
Schmuck.
people.
But I mean, look at it goes up merit.
But your man
goes off of merit, right?
Well,
look at the resume.
Everyone hated Trump, and then this last election.
Yeah,
too.
I just say look at the resume. Look at the man's. Like I look at. I just think okay, if we're to
he's
compare,
not a politician.
If we're comparing, Dingle's resume against whoever resume. Okay, what's her resume other than just she was married to John Dingle? I don't know. I'm sure there's something
More
on
like
there.
a
I'd love to see it. I don't know what the fuck she is. Did she serve in the military?
No.
Did she other than just being an advocate of whatever the hell she's an advocate of? I don't know. Like
I just pushes progressive policies and progressives love her. I mean, look, that's
I think old white lady. I think it's comfortable maybe for people. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. That's a
characteristic thing.
It's a characteristic thing that I just don't want to play a part of. I mean, do I mean that there are things like that? Yeah. But like, do I want to pass it off as that's it? I don't know, because that's going down that. Like, I even hate hearing about DEI all the time. Do I agree that it's there? Sure, but like to what? Like, what are the studies saying? Like, how many people get hired through DEI initiatives?
We'll have to find out.
It's alarming. It's alarming when people say we need to. There's too many white pilots. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, Jay. That's a weird statement to me, and it's not because I'm white and I'm offended. It's more so that would be like someone saying like we have too many black people that are in basketball.
Yeah.
It's like no, we don't. Those are the people that have applied themselves to be within that frame of work.
Yeah, I think
they represent the frame of work.
If I may, I think the only thing that I see on my left side is basically saying like, the question would be is it not being offered to black?
Of course,
white,
but how do you figure that out? You investigate.
You got to find out.
You got to find out.
Yeah.
So what the government should do is, hey,
opportunity enhancements.
There you go, or a government efficiency.
There you go.
And the way a government could be more efficient is to say, hey, so the claim is there's a lot of white pilots. Okay, why aren't black people wanting to fly planes? I don't know. Maybe because
they's afraid of heights.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that. Maybe it's the whole the trope about black people not being able to swim. Maybe they don't like the idea of flying. I don't know. I've seen a lot of black people travel on airplanes though, so I think that's out the window.
Yeah, I think it's just like a Goggins thing, right? Like Goggins was big in his book. He would talk about the SEALs and how like obviously black people don't like to swim, and the SEALs you have to swim. So, and he said he didn't like to swim, right?
Yeah.
So obviously it's exposure therapy. So I think what the government's initiative should be is getting opportunity enhancements to expose those cultures to these things so they can have the opportunity to make the choice.
Yes and no. I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree and I agree.
Yeah.
Like you can implement those into those societies or those cultures or those communities. That doesn't mean it's going to pan out for you. So if you've done all that work and you've put forth all that initiative and you put all this work into it and then it doesn't come out the way you thought, why are we still talking about it?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, my opinion is in today's modern world, black people can be as successful as any other time in history.
Yeah.
There's no greater time to be anybody than now in America.
Absolutely.
Let's say that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can't find success everywhere else in the world.
No, you cannot.
But here, you can be anybody as long
It's
as
a
you're
pinnacle.
educated, as long as you have the right head on your shoulders.
Yep.
You can do some things. Look, the market here is capitalism. It does not matter your race.
Yeah.
If you can provide and make money for somebody, you're good, dog.
Yeah, if you're resilient, you have your how, you can find,
Unless you're applying to the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah. Find your why, you'll have your how. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Nietzsche.
You keep bringing up Nietzsche like I fucking read that.
I just thought it
All
was
right,
cool.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah,
I'm fucking with you, dog. I think that's cool that you dig it. I mean, that's how we learn about other things, right? Like I wouldn't know about Jordan Peterson if I wasn't me listening to Ben Shapiro here and there.
Yeah.
Which I can't even stand that. Listen to that sometimes.
It gets a little much. All this stuff is a lot.
Too religious sometimes, man.
Love your neighbor, love your life, love your family, love your friends, love your dog, love your cat.
Love your son who
likes fire trucks
and fucking knocks on doors. The school bus.
School bus.
Yeah,
school bus.
Man, there's a fire truck underneath you.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's a little public service.
So again, All right, guys, make some moderate.
Absolutely.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. That was fun.
Jay's gonna try and he keeps talking this shit like he's gonna do it. He's just got to do it.
I've
been telling
busy
him I
man,
can send you the shit. He's got money. He
Department
acts like
of
he ain't
Homeland
got
Security.
money. He's
I'm
got
getting there.
a nice
Better.
fucking house. He's got
Yeah, I got
adorable
that.
kids.
Yeah.
He's got a dog that's kind of got like a weird face. Like
Yeah, dude. No one. Yeah,
Your
Turner.
dog
Hooch.
kind of looks like he has a Down syndrome or something.
Turner and Hooch. He's Turner and Hooch dog. Yeah. Get the muffin. Get the muffin.
Some big bastard burly boy. They should call him Burly Boy Bones or some shit.
No, thanks for having me, man. Thanks
For having you. This
yeah.
is your thing, man.
No, dude, this is awesome, man. It's good seeing you. It's good
So
getting it out.
We're gonna hook him up to where he can start doing these however he wants.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send him this file,
I appreciate it.
and
Man.
he can beat to it or whatever he wants.
I'll figure it out. Edit it out.
Holy
right.
shit, dude!
Yeah, dude, we
2:30.
fucking talked.
I like it.
All right.
GG's.